Hey and hello there everyone! Welcome to another Pokemon shiny hunting stream because things are still uncertain and we'll get talking about all that soon, I'm sure. But let's say hi to some people and stuff like that. I need to like rearrange some stuff just so I can actually see you all and read your messages and stuff like that. But hopefully, can you all see the game? Can you hear my voice? And can you hear, I wish the Switch menu had background music, but can you hear the clickety-clack of the Switch if I do this? Hopefully you can hear that clickety-clack. If you can't, let me know. Or when we start the game, let me know if you can hear the music. Let's quickly say hi to people, and then we'll get into the shiny hunting very quickly. So hi, Kramin. And I hope you like cramming too. And Zach, and Kevin, and Xander, and Katie, and Lexi, and Miss Wannykins, and Tenchi, and Shebertooth. And hang on, whoa. Hang on, whoop. Hang on. Davon, hi. Lovely to see you. And then, hang on, who else we got? Hang on, I'm scrolling the wrong way. That's why I'm scrolling. That's why I'm having problems scrolling, because I'm scrolling the wrong way. Neo, hello. And LPB VGC, lovely to see you. Hi. Welcome. And I think that's most of everyone, but if I didn't say hi to you, feel free to say hi and I will say hi to you. So let's kind of get into this today. Forgive me if I get all over the place with talking and topics. There are a bunch of I kind of veer off topic constantly anyway, but there are some reasons why I might today. Firstly, I do apologize because I've actually had a kind of a busy week this week. And it's one of those things where it was kind of like all in, like yesterday was my busiest day. So it's one of those things where I was like, kind of like spending the week like building up to and preparing for Friday. And normally what kind of happens is I'll build up and prepare for, if I do have any kind of a busy week, usually I kind of like build up and prepare for like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday or something. And then like on Friday I can shift my brain to like streaming mode, you know? But then, but what kind of then happens is when you have stuff on Friday, you don't really, I haven't really thought ahead to this week's stream very much. So it kind of means that I don't really 100% know all the different Pokemon we're going to shiny hunt today. But I think maybe if you don't mind, to kick things off and to do like a nice easy one, we have, because also I haven't been playing this game as much because I've still been playing my other games. What we have is I have 2 shiny Tyrogues. We got one on stream 2 weeks ago. Shall we see if we can get a third Tyrogue so that we can, or an extra Tyrogue? Actually, that's a good... Are these both... Hang on a sec. I need to check both of these. First met Canyon Biome. Do I not have my other Tyrogue anywhere? I probably don't. Okay. Anyway, Bark. So let's get another Tyrogue and... You know, and then we'll kind of figure out what the heck we're gonna do from like here or whatever. So does that sound like a good plan? And then I'll kind of figure out. I think I know some of the other Pokemon that we'll kind of try and aim for today. I normally, like when I did the stream last week, I was like, right, we'll go for this, and this kind of thing. And even though we got like 9 shinies, I still kind of like had a plan and a strategy for like what I was gonna hunt for. And when, you know, like what sandwiches I'm going to make and all that kind of stuff. And this week I just don't really know because we had like the stream last week, which wasn't shiny hunting. I didn't really know, you know, it sort of means we've had like a slightly longer gap for me to kind of forget about like shiny hunting. And because I'm not like, normally when I did the shiny hunts before as well, not only was I doing like 1 shiny hunt per week, but also I was like doing shiny hunting off stream as well. So I kind of like had a tally of like what I have and what I need and what I want, and I was like, oh, actually I'll save that for the stream this Saturday, you know, like I come up with ideas throughout the week. This week though, I haven't been playing Pokemon. I've been busy, and so I'm kind of just a bit like, oh right, Pokemon, yeah. So hopefully that all sounds good. But let's see what we've got. Right, so I've saved the game 50 bajillion times. And let's get into things. Now, last time we discovered that talking about politics did not bring us shinies, but talking about Xenoblade 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 did. So maybe I will end up talking about Xenoblade a bit today. But yeah, hang on. So make a sandwich. There we go. Sandwich. How do people pronounce sandwich? Because I sort of almost say like sandwich rather than sandwich. And I know a lot of people sort of say sandwich, but I suppose it probably is supposed to be sandwich. And yeah, I never know. Right, okay, fighting sandwich. Remember this, it's pickles because of Jenny's cat. So we've got tomato, onion, green pepper, and a hamburger. And then we're gonna do, what are we gonna do? Should we do a bitter pickles? Let's do some bitter pickles. That sounds kind of funny. Kevin, you just say sandwich. Katie Pratt, you say sandwich sometimes. You had a snow day from work yesterday, Miss Warnykins. That's awesome. I like that. But just given that like snow days are going to become less and less of a thing with the sort of rise in technology and I don't know, things like Zoom and the pandemic have kind of shown us like, hey, we can work from home whenever, and it's like, oh no, snow days. But right, let's make our sandwich. Again, I'm sort of saying sandwich rather than sandwich. Right, hang on, we're gonna place this very delicately over there. There we go, and then there we go. Okay, sweet. Okay. Sandwich. Right. Okay, sorry. Lost in his confusion, Beau hang on, where was that? Lost in his confusion, Beau accidentally catches a shiny Arceus. Oh well. Tenchi absolutely made your day the other day. Oh, well, I hope you had a good birthday. You're very, very welcome. And yes, please, thank you, Shibo Tooth. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the stream, because I constantly forget to say it. Every time we catch a shiny, you have to like and subscribe. Someone has to like and subscribe, okay? And now that I have this little activity feed thing, I can see when you guys actually do subscribe. So if you are one of the like 10% of people who are not subscribed, please subscribe. So Tyrogue, if we remember correctly, was kind of like grey, and then it's like the underwear and the shoes are blue. So it'd be nicer if Tyrogue was like blue instead of pink, instead of like blue shorts instead of brown shorts. But hey ho, Ben's not here, we'll take it, you know? Okay. So, we're going to, but this was the good spot to hunt for Tyrogues. Well, not this way, but like you sort of go this way and then you come back and then you kind of loop, and yeah. So hopefully this is like easy to spot on the stream, on the television. Actually, what I might just do very quickly, I've just pulled the television a little bit closer to me. Because it's like, hey, if I can see the game better, why not do that, you know? So, okay. Right, but yeah, so I do apologize, just kind of like had a busy week, and it means normally I kind of like plan for the streams a bit more, even if it's just like internally, mentally in my head. But this week, I've just not really been able to give much thought to this, because I've just been focused on other things. But hey, it's been quite a nice start. I've had like sort of quite a busy week since like the previous Friday or so. So like, you know, the previous Friday through to yesterday. And you know, I'm sort of very grateful for it, that I've had like a sort of a nice busy, and you know, lots of good. It's a lot. That isn't a shiny, is it? No, that's just lighting. Again, that's one thing, if you've never watched any of my shiny streams before, you're going to get a lot of, is that a different color or is that just poor lighting? Because that's what this game will do to you. And again, you just saw like some blip of something in the background there. And yeah. So okay. But I will ask you. I know this is a bit weird. There are loads of things I want to talk about, but I actually have something a little bit different I do want to talk about today. And that's it. I should be talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because it gets us shinies, but I'm going to talk about something a little bit different today because I want to be real with you guys. Don't worry, it's not about politics. But no, I want to be honest. Like, for the past, I can't remember when it started, and I won't get into all the details and the weeds, like I won't get into in the thick of it for reasons that I'll kind of explain in a while anyway. But for like the past week or so, I can't remember. Is that a shiny or is that just lighting? No, that's just lighting. It was hard to tell because it's like eating fruit as well. So for like the past week or so, and this is really annoying, and I hope it stops soon. But again, we'll get into that in a sec. Basically, for like the last week or so, I've actually been feeling quite anxious. I don't really have anxiety anymore. I haven't for like a decade. But basically, at some point in the last week or so, I was like in the shower, and you kind of like have like the peace and the serenity of the shower, and some sort of scary thoughts just kind of like, you know, in a moment of like sort of serene vulnerability, some sort of scary thoughts entered my brain, and they kind of wedged themselves in there. And I've kind of had this happen a couple of times before. Maybe you guys can relate to this, where, I don't know, just some scary something or other kind of pops into your head, and it kind of lodges itself there, and you can't really like shake it loose. Like, you know, it's sort of, once it's in there, it's like hard to get out of there, and you kind of tell yourself like, stop thinking about it. But as I say in my book, like, this is how I generally don't experience anxiety. If you just say stop thinking about something, that's not really helpful. Like, if I tell you guys, like, purple penguins, everyone, don't think about purple penguins, okay? Stop thinking about purple penguins. Don't think about purple penguins. Don't think about purple penguins. Stop thinking about purple penguins. Stop thinking about those penguins in all their purpleness. Most of you are going to have pictured a purple penguin at some point. Let me know what your purple penguin looked like. But like, you know, so it's not helpful. You know, the helpful way to move past scary thoughts and stuff is to, you know, lay it all out and just sort of get to the root of why you're thinking these things and stuff like that, and whatever. But it's just really annoying because I've kind of done a lot of the kind of the groundwork that I would normally do to, you know, sort of get over something, quote unquote. And unfortunately, these scary thoughts are still with me, and I won't get into the weeds about what they are. I'm not going to lay them all out for you. And the reason why is because they're sticking with me so badly. If I kind of go into detail about like, I'm worried about these things because of this and this and this, then you guys could be like, oh no, he's right, kind of thing, and then you could get anxious too. So I'm not going to do that, but it's just really annoying because I don't really experience anxiety anymore, and it's very much like a feeling in my past kind of thing. So it just kind of sucks to be like having this anxiety recently, and such like a deep sticking one, you know. And it's just really annoying because I can't, you know, like if anyone's like, oh, maybe you could like have some therapy or something like that. Again, I've only had it like a few days or a week or whatever. I don't know how long it's been now. But it's not, you know, so it's not like that serious yet or anything. And even if it is, it's like I can't afford therapy or anything like that. But I kind of want to be honest about this, just if I seem a bit off today or anything. I think I may have even been a bit like this last week, but we had the epilogue, so I just would like sort of was able to kind of throw myself into that because there's like so many characters to voice and stuff. But this week is a bit more like, you know, just like pink, 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 pink. So it's kind of like it's a bit harder to deviate from anxious thoughts or anxious underlying stuff. And the annoying thing is that it's all very stupid and it's all very irrational, and I know it's stupid and I know it's irrational. And again, like I said, I've laid it all out and like explained it to myself in a very sort of conscious way. I've like written stuff out like by hand, so it's like, look, this is like fine, don't worry about it, but it's still just kind of there, and it's just really annoying because this is like such a foreign feeling to me, you know. I had like anxiety for like a 2-year time span or something like that, And then I kind of like haven't really had it for like a decade, other than a couple of like bursts here and there. And this might be one of the sort of more, I don't know, this could end up being a more sort of serious like flare up of it that I've had in like a long time, and it's just annoying, and it's just I just want to feel like how I felt like 2 weeks ago or something, you know, like, yeah, 2 weeks ago I was a bit like pessimistic about 2024 and stuff like that, but still I just really want to shake this feeling and stop thinking about these things that I'm thinking about. But again, it's like telling yourself stop thinking about it doesn't help. So I will check chat in a sec and see what you guys are saying. Be like, Beau, just play the shinies or whatever. But let's look for some Tyrogues first, and then we'll get into it. If we don't find any Tyrogues, we'll get whatever's. I've got like a next thing on my list, so we'll go for the next thing on my list. If oh, actually, I should check what the what are the the Scizor. There's autumn. No, or is that spring? Is that spring form or is that autumn form? That's autumn form, isn't it? Or is it spring? I actually can't tell. And then, oh, Pyro, Horsey. Oh, we'll do that Horsey. We will do that Horsey thing. Let me just check chat for a sec. So, hang on a sec. Let's see. Hang on a sec. Let me just check chat for a sec. Okay, sorry. So those were the birthday wishes to Tenchi. Don't let the TV fall on you. Don't worry. Like, everything's like on the floor, so everything's like all low down. There's an idea for a video. Can I catch Pokemon blind? The answer is no. I do remember. Remind me about that in a second, okay? Just remind me about that in a second, about like blind Pokemon playing, okay? So anyway, question. If I remember correctly, you've said that you did the battle facilities in the previous generations. Have you ever played competitive Smogon or VGC before? LPB VGC asks. That's a good question. Remind me of that in a second. The long story short is, so I used to like EV train on my Pokemon and stuff like that, and I'd always do like the Battle Frontier and the Battle Tower and stuff like that. But I've never really like played against other people. The time I did the most was like Diamond and Pearl, when I used to be like on a Pokemon forum and I would battle other people, and I do the online play on Pokemon Battle Revolution. I did one online battle on Pokemon Black and White, which I won, and that was like one of my last ever battles ever, really, for like a long time. And then in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they had like they had like the little tournament things. They had a tournament years ago for, it was like a Halloween themed thing. So it was like, oh, you can only use like ghost types and poison types or something. I can't remember, but it's like you can only use this limited set of Pokemon. And I was like, oh, if we're only allowed to use like a limited set of Pokemon, I actually might like stand a chance of doing quite well in a format like that. And so I did do this like doubles ghost type like online tournament thing they had for like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And I actually got in like the top, I think it was like the top 25% of like players worldwide or something. So that was really fun and that was really cool. But it was a good busy week. When I say it was a busy week, it was a good busy week. So Neo, I don't know if you, I assume if you saw last stream, you caught your first shiny in Violet without even a sandwich or trading. There was a Flabébé breakout, and you just went in with your Pokemon. That's brilliant. Flabébé is like a really hard one to spot as well, so that's really, really cool. Congratulations, Neo. And your first thought was to tell Beau. That's really sweet. So anxiety, people saying they can relate. So yeah, it's just, but the problem is with these things I've been thinking about, it's sort of something where there's not really I don't really know what I can do about it, is the problem as well. Like the stuff I've been thinking about. But yeah, see, it's Tenchi, your purple penguin looks like what Piplup's shiny should have been. See, that's like, it's like you might have been thinking of Ice-Q, because Ice-Q is like a purple shiny. Your penguin, and then Kevin thought of a big purple Piplup. Or sorry, a purple Piplup, not a big purple Piplup. Shibotooth, you wish you could picture purple penguins, but aphantasia is like bad. Purple penguin is Wakia. Davon, Beau, if you could travel far in the world playing Nintendo games, where would you go? Well, I mean, I don't really need to like travel to play Nintendo games. I would say, and particularly like in the modern age and stuff like that. Um, so this thing. Here's the thing as well. I don't really like care about traveling much and stuff. It just doesn't really like I find traveling stressful, and I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? I find traveling stressful, and there are things like, I don't know, like I can't drive, so it's like you either need to get someone to like drive you to the airport, or you have to like take a public transport or something. You have to figure out like how to get to the airport and stuff. Like I hate traveling. I don't like going on planes. When I say I don't like going on planes, I don't mean like I'm afraid of being on planes or anything. Like actual plane travel is fine, but what I just mean is like the whole experience of like having to go like sort of like, say, I don't know, like 2-3 hours early, and like the going through security and all this stuff like takes ages, and then like waiting in the airport lounge and boarding, and like plane travel is just like a slow, and it's like, because of my experience with flying, like every time I've had to fly, it's been for like a 10+ hour trip, because it's always been like England to America. So so I don't like traveling, because for some people they'd be like, oh, I quite like flying, because like maybe they're like based in England and all they've ever done is like fly to like France and Germany and Spain and other places in Europe where they only have to be on a plane for like a couple of hours. Whereas for me, like plane travel constitutes like 10+ hours, and going to the airport super early and waiting in like airport lounges for a long time and stuff like that. And yeah, and it just so it's just I don't really enjoy travel. And the thing is, when I look at pictures of other places, I just don't have a like, oh, I wish I was there, or I wish I could see that with my own eyes or something. I don't really like yearn for other places. I think I have talked about this a bit before, so I won't go on and on and on from this point on, but there are like a couple of exceptions I have. I will admit, like, there's a part of me interested in, like, trying different foods from different places and stuff like that. Like, trying a Chicago pizza in Chicago, or whatever, or like a Philly cheesesteak in Philly. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I have, like, curiosity when it comes to, like, that kind of stuff. And so that is maybe, like, the aspect of traveling I maybe do like. And then the other thing is just, like, say, meeting people. If I get more, like, voiceover credits, and I get my eyesight sorted and some other things, and, like, yeah, doing conventions could be a fun thing. Like, yes, it's still, you get, like, the stress of travel, but, hey, I wouldn't be on a plane for more than, like, a few hours at least, or something like that. At least I hope so. So yeah, it wouldn't be, so like that would kind of be a cool aspect of traveling. And yeah, like so that would be cool. But in terms of sort of but to actually go to your question, you said about like travel for like Nintendo games or something, and I don't know if there's anything specific you mean by that, but I don't really feel like I would need to travel for my gaming or anything like that. I suppose the only thing would be if there would be people who you'd want to do some kind of like collaborations with or something, and they live in other places, so you'd be like, oh, well, I'd want to do a video with so-and-so, so I guess I'd have to travel to like where they live to do a collaboration with them or something like that. Right, how long have we been? Okay, 13 minutes, not bad. But I hope that kind of answers that question. And then to go back to Kevin's question, or Kevin's comment, about the like blind Pokemon playing. So there was this documentary I watched years ago, and I'd hate to think how long ago this is now. But like there was this like documentary I watched back in England when I was like way younger, and it was basically about like a blind boy, and it was about like how he kind of navigates and experiences the world and stuff like that, and it sort of explained how he kind of did. Oops, sorry, I just hit my microphone there, so I apologize if there was a noise. But there was basically, but it sort of talked about how he kind of used like a sort of miniature form of echolocation to kind of help navigate his way around. And he would do little clicks and stuff, so kind of thing with his tongue, and then like he would kind of use that to help judge like proximity between him and his surroundings. And that's really, and you know, so, and just for those who don't know, that's kind of how like bats and some other animals like sort of locate things. They will kind of emit sound waves, and then based on like the reflections of the sound waves, like how quickly or not the sound waves bounce back to people, the animals will kind of know and recognize, oh hey, I'm not about to bump into something, or if like, oh, that sound bounced back very quickly, I'm about to hit a wall. But anyway, bark. But anyway, so this boy did like this mini form of echolocation. Cool. But then like when it was sort of explaining about him using this, and it like showed some examples, it kind of like explained him doing this, and then like had like a quick like, you know, 3-second montage of like little things he was doing around the house, like where he would like be doing this or something. But then like one of the things was him on like a Game Boy Advance playing like Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and I was like, no, you cannot play like, there is not a YouTube video of can I beat Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green using only echolocation. like you can totally play Pokemon without needing to see it, right? Like if you know Pokemon's movesets, and if you know like different sounds, like, oh, that's the sound for a super effective hit, and that's like, you can play Pokemon that way totally. So this isn't about like, you can't play Pokemon blind. Like, no, you can, absolutely, but you cannot like being able to like sense if like a wall is near you or something doesn't help. Like the pixels on a Game Boy Advance screen don't like physically bump out like Braille or something, wherein a person could like, you know, unless I'm missing something here, it's like actually, Beau, like the light emitted on a Game Boy Advance screen, the text would kind of bounce off the screen differently on the parts of the screen that have text on them compared to parts of the screen that don't have text on them. If that's a thing, hey, cool, I apologize, but I don't think it is. I've never heard of that. You know, but anyway, so that's just my story about that. So okay, let's see. So let's see. Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry, Crammon actually put a comment. You have a couple of questions from chat. Yeah, when I shiny hunt, it is harder for me to check chat and ask questions. So, but hopefully I just answered those questions anyway. So I apologize, Crammon, that I'm only just seeing your comment and like, psst, Beau, you've got some comments to answer. It's like, right, we've got, let me check back the comments. Like, oh, I just answered them. But hopefully that kind of answered questions and stuff and things. But yeah. Okay. But yeah, so that's my questions about chat and sound. But yeah, so I do apologize for getting a bit about anxiety. I like kind of, you know, I like presenting myself as a person who is of sort of good mental health and proof that you can, you know, sort of get yourself out of like depression and anxiety. Because I had really severe depression and anxiety and I got out of it, but it's just annoying that right now I've kind of got stuck on this thing that, and it's a thing where I can't, it's just a hard thing to like argue myself out of. It's not like I'm worried about some event that's coming up that's like all decided now, you know, like say if I like, you know, there are times where I say got a bit anxious or worried about like, say for example, my green card, but there's like a conclusion to that. You know, it's like, well, I'm either gonna get it or I'm not gonna get it or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like the stuff I'm worrying about is kind of stuff that like I can't possibly know, and there's no way for me to really possibly know. Like it's really silly for me to think about. But like, But like, here I am thinking about it. And I keep telling myself that, and I keep reminding myself that, like, Beau, you can't know, you won't know, you don't know, you're never gonna know. These are things where it's just, they're impossible to answer questions, and as such, it's not worth pondering them. You haven't been pondering them for, you like, sometimes I would ponder them briefly, and then I'd just quickly move on because of how pointless it is. But this time, it's like, ugh, just like a wedge has been stuck in my brain. I can't stop thinking about it, and it's just really annoying. And hopefully I can stop. It was nice yesterday. Yesterday, my busy day, I actually did stop thinking about it because I was so just kind of focused on what I was doing that everything just kind of melted away, and I hope that everything can kind of just melt away and I can stop once again. But yeah, we'll see. But so I do apologize for that. I need to talk about Xenoblade 3, because we are 19 minutes into this shiny hunt, and we don't have a Tyrogue yet. What is happening? Why have we not got a Tyrogue? Have I just, like, passed a bajillion shinies, and not realized? We need to get this sorted, don't we? Chat, okay, in the chat, put, emojis, okay? Here are the emojis you need to put. You need to put blue hearts, like the dark blue hearts, not the sky blue hearts, okay? So, like, the royal blue hearts or whatever, the regular blue hearts, not light blue. So you need to put, like, the deep blue hearts. You need to put some sparkles. And I don't know, what else? Do we want to say, like, a... Oh, there we go. It worked. You didn't... No one even put an emoji yet, but just you thinking about needing an emoji got us there. Okay, here we go. Yes, that's really funny. As soon as I asked for emojis, it then appeared. Like, you guys didn't even get the chance to put any emojis in chat yet, and it worked beautifully. Okay, so those are our 3 Tyrogues, but let's see if we can get another one. And let's see if we can get another one. Oh, Charizard the Unrivaled has subscribed to your channel. Thank you so much, Charizard. That's really awesome, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. And thank you, because clearly your subscription, which is free, by the way. Oh, that's another thing as well. If you are more familiar with Twitch, YouTube subscriptions are free, so when I say subscribe, I'm not like, please give me all your money. I mean, hey, if you have money you want to give me, and you're not going to use it, then, like, I'll take it, but no, seriously though, in all seriousness. But like, the YouTube subscribing is free, and so is a like, and we just got a shiny, so you have to like and subscribe. If you aren't already, if you are one of that 10%, those subscriptions really do help out. It just lets YouTube know that I am a channel worth watching, and that people like me, and they value me, and they appreciate me, and stuff, and it just helps spread these videos and hopefully good vibes to other people. Although now I'm going to go back into some of... So I'm just going to... But so I do apologize for getting into, like, anxiousness stuff, because again, it's just because, I am a person who I'm like, I wrote a book kind of thing. And then it's like, oh, now I'm feeling all the things that, this book helped me deal with like 10 years ago. Maybe I need to just read my own book. And maybe that is something I will do. But yeah, but it's just this annoying thing where I like to kind of... I don't mean it as, like, I like to project strength or something like that. I don't mean it like that. But I just mean, I am a positive person. I don't really get fazed by a lot of scary things. And I like that. And I like that I kind of can exist as an inspiration for some people and stuff like that, or a hashtag goal for some people. And so then when I am kind of not the thing that I like to think that I am, it's a bit like, oh no. Because then I suppose as well, I feel like a bit of a fraud. It's like, well, here I am telling people I'm like a positive, optimistic person, and now I've got a anxiety wedge. Oh yeah. It's kind of like, ugh, So I suppose there's that as well. One thing about this anxiety thing as well that I realize, it really is like there really is like a perfect storm of events which has kind of led to this, which led to that moment where like this horrible thought snuck in and I like wasn't prepared to deal with it. Because sometimes I have scary thoughts, but the thing is I'm normally kind of like so kind of positive and ready to just like beat down on any negative thoughts that like as soon as they enter my brain, it's just like, you know, like brain cells, get them, and then like, you know, and then like my brain cells just like wail on the negative thoughts and then like punch them and punch them and punch them, and then like they, you know, it eviscerate into nothing, and or evaporate into nothing. I'm losing my metaphors, but the point is that, you know, normally I kind of like, if I like have some kind of negative thought, it's very quickly kind of put out of my mind, because my brain, I've sort of trained myself kind of so well to kind of jump on things and say, hey, that's not worth worrying about because of this, and that. Or it's like, you know, like I've sort of gotten so good at kind of, you know, knowing like the positive talking points and knowing the positive attitudes and knowing the positive thinking that, that it's kind of like weird to, you know, kind of not have that. But it's because I have had this like perfect storm of just like various events and various things that have kind of been like, oh gosh, oh wow, kind of thing, and all these like little things that have kind of been like, kind of thing. When like all those have kind of came in, it kind of just gave me like enough of a vulnerability where when you have this scary thought, it's like, oh no, that's terrifying. And then it's like, okay, stop thinking about the terrifying thing. Oh no, the terrifying thought's in there now. No. So again, I just apologize for it. I'll just give you like a quick example of, you know, again, it's just sort of, like I said, last year was just like a stressful and difficult year for me. I like did my green card, and like just it was like a lot of effort and a lot of work, and it was like a huge financial hit from which I'm, even though I'm actually sort of in like a couple of months, it'll probably be like a year or something since I did like the final payment on like any green card stuff kind of thing. So it's like, well, Beau, you like paid for that like a year ago, surely everything's fine now. But it was such a big hit, and we've had all the stuff like inflation and everything else that, you know, basically just 2023 was like a hard year, and it's like it's gonna take a long time to recover from it, and just all around really. But that, again, that's sort of part of, but again, 2023 being like a bit of a sucky year for me, is kind of just an example of like the, you know, one of the many things that was like a perfect storm. One thing that's kind of weird, like the video games I'm playing at the minute probably don't actually, as fun as they are, like in terms of some of their themes and some other weird little things, they're probably also not some of the best things to help me deal with this stuff kind of thing, or they probably could have helped allow some of these thoughts to get in. And like one weird thing, like Fire Emblem Three Hopes, a weird thing about that, again, this is why I sort of call it like a perfect storm. A thing that kind of has left me feeling a bit vulnerable and weird lately is just playing Fire Emblem Three Hopes. For those who don't know, Fire Emblem Three Hopes is kind of like a sort of an alternative. It's an alternative gameplay experience, an alternative version to the story of Fire Emblem Three Houses. It has a different type of gameplay, and to sort of be like, well, why do we need to have a game with these same characters with different gameplay? It's like, well, let's have an alternative telling of the story. So it has all the same characters and stuff, but just like a different story. And then there are like a couple of new characters, but not a whole load of new ones. Or some of the new ones are just ones who are mentioned only by name in the original Three Houses, but then we never actually got to see them. But like playing Fire Emblem Three Hopes is kind of a bit weird and sad, and some of you may know where I'm going with this. Just because the original Fire Emblem Three Houses had my friends Brad Venable and Billy Kometz in the cast, and for Three Hopes, Brad sadly isn't in the game because he passed away before they recorded that game, and then it was one of Billy's, if not like Billy's final project kind of thing. It released, I believe it released posthumously. And I'm actually playing like the Black Eagles path, where like his character Ferdinand is like one of the characters I'm using the most. So it's a very weird and surreal kind of experience, and you know, I've sort of got this like constant reminder of like my friend who's gone at the minute and stuff like that, which is very, you know, very weird. And I liked his character, and just Billy was like one of my favorite people, one of the first people I met when I moved here, and he's instantly became one of my favorite people, who I just adored and thought was like the coolest guy ever. And I was like, I want to be like this guy. And so it's just, you know, so like I said, perfect storm of events, and it, you know, there's just all this stuff, and it's kind of like all kind of, you know, I think basically just kind of a lot of stuff has all been gradually weighing down, and then, you know, these sort of scary thoughts came in, and normally the sort of defense mechanisms, I have to cope with them, were not there because they'd kind of been like run dry or something, or were incapacitated just for long enough for these like scary thoughts to enter my brain, and the scary thoughts now kind of like aren't leaving my brain, and it's like, okay, but can you leave the brain though? Because like I know that these thoughts are silly and pointless and not worth thinking about, but for some reason that's not working. And but for the Fire Emblem Three Hopes thing is just a very it's just odd. And yeah, so it's sort of weird just having this reminder and playing this game where it's kind of like one game is, you know, like there's one set of characters where it's like, oh, my friend should have voiced those, but he passed away, and like and that's like, and the anniversary of Brad's passing was 3 years ago, like 2 weeks ago, I think, like 2 weeks ago tomorrow was like 3 years since he passed, and then yeah, so it's sort of just this weird thing where it's like that, you know, like literally on the anniversary of his passing, I'm playing a game that like sort of for all intents and purposes he quote unquote should have been in, just stuff like that. So there's just like all these little things, the stress of the green card and the financial burden and everything, and it's just been this thing that's been hanging over my head for years. And like, yes, it's out the way, but like the scars are still there, and you know, so there's just all these little things that just kind of left little old Beau feeling a bit, just kind of creating a little bit of an open wound from which it's like these scary thoughts are like, aha, and then like, you know, kind of jam themselves deep inside. So I do apologize for the next shiny hunt. We'll keep things positive. I'll talk about Xenoblade and how I was a real silly Billy. Some of you may have seen my tweet about this, but I've got a funny thing that happened in Xenoblade yesterday, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But I think we're going to almost be done with this Tyrogue hunt. Surely we're going to be running out. There's a Tepig. Okay, that's the end of the sandwich. Okay, so, but before we move on with our next sandwich, let's check our Tyrogues. And let's see which one we're going to evolve and which one we're not going to evolve. So hang on. That one's got 73 attack, 52 defense. That one's got... Ah, okay, hang on. Oh, that kind of sucks. Okay, so let me... Okay, hang on. That one has way better attack. And that one has way better attack. Okay, let me think about this. Oh, hang on. That one has better defense. That one has better defense. That one has way better attack. And then this one has marginally better attack. So maybe this one can be the Hitmontop. Yeah, okay. Hang on then. So what we're going to do... Hang on. So what we're going to do... What am I going to do? So we're going to get you, and we're going to try and balance out the stats of this guy. Do I have any iron? It'd help if I had iron. Let's do... Hang on a sec, let me think about this. Hang on, 4... 24. Okay, hang on a sec, we'll do... I just need to do, well, not maths, but I just need to concentrate for just a second. Because I need to see... Okay, hang on a minute. We'll do... Resist... Okay, those are even. Right, so I'm going to save the game. We're going to try and go for a Hitmontop here, okay? And then what we'll do, we might need to... Hang on, I'm going to save the game just again, because we like to save 50 bajillion times here at Beau Video Games, okay? Right, okay. Rare candy. Let's see. Oh, crud, hang on. Oh, for the look... I can't look at its stats. No, let me see its stats. Okay, if this doesn't... Oh, hey, we got it! We got the Hitmontop. Okay, nice. We got Hitmontop. Okay, so that's... Okay, so I will explain what I'm doing in a sec as well for people who are like less familiar with Pokemon, because I just realized I wasn't explaining what I was doing there. So Tyrogue, the gimmick with Tyrogue is Tyrogue can evolve into 3 different fighting type Pokemon. There's Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, and Hitmontop. And Hitmonchan needs to have higher defense than attack when your Tyrogue evolves. Hitmonlee needs to have higher attack than defense when it evolves. And Hitmontop needs to have equal attack and defense. Now they're not equal because Hitmontop has different stats than Tyrogue, but your Tyrogue needs to have the same stats. So basically, I needed to look at my 3 different Tyrogues and say, okay, which one of these is best to evolve into a Hitmonchan, which is best to evolve into a Hitmonlee. Luckily, like, you know, we have one where the defense is already higher than the attack. We have one where the attack is way higher than the defense. And this one was, like, kind of close. So, so it's like, okay, let's make this one Hitmontop, but I just had to fudge the stats around just so that that worked out perfectly, and then it did work perfectly, so that's cool. So we're going to save the game, because we like to save 50 bajillion times here at Beau Video Games, now that we've got the Hitmontop. And then we'll... What I'll do, I won't save until I evolve both of these, just to make sure that both of these do evolve correctly. So... right, anyway, we'll look at chats and comment in a sec. Got a second shiny Charmander, that's 3 shiny ones so far. Not bad for a lunch break. That's excellent, Miss Wannykins. It looks odd in pink wrestling singlet thing. Let's see. I think you speak for everyone when you say it's okay to vent to us. Oh, well, thank you. Oh my gosh, I has only just looked at how hideous this is. Once I sort of, I'd been looking at chat. I knew it had the blue gloves, but I didn't realize it had the I didn't realize it had the kind of ugly shade of green. Okay, right, and then hopefully this one should be evolving into a Hitmonlee. It's level 69. That's nice. You got shiny Esper yesterday, Sharkbite. That's awesome. I got shiny Esper on the stream 2 weeks ago, didn't I? But we got a male one. Oh no, we got a female one, and we already had a female Meowstick, which was kind of a shame. But that's awesome. Congratulations. And yeah, also green. Like, I mean, Hitmonchan was like a sort of very different green, or like a bluey green or whatever. But no, that's a green. That's just a not nice green, isn't it? So here's the thing, chat. I love the color green. I know I think I have said this before. I love the color green, but like, I don't think it, like, necessarily... So I don't think that, like, making a Pokemon green automatically makes it better. It, like, really depends on, like... If you take something like Dusknoir here, if you had, like, a bright, toxic sludge... Like that sort of, like, bright, toxic sludge green, and then you really brightened that yellow to be, like, a bright yellow or something, Dusknoir would look really cool. Keep the red eye, but, like... Dusknoir would look cool when it's green. And it could maybe rock like a dark green or something as well. But something like this, even if you made this like a... If you made this like a toxic green or whatever, like that sort of bright green, maybe it'd look better, but it still wouldn't, like, work, you know? To be honest, it could have just had the different colored gloves and maybe like a slightly different shade of brown. It would have been fine. Okay. We got the Tyrogues, and we got the Hitmonlee, and we got the Hitmonchan. Excellent, 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 excellent. So, right, I know what we're going to get next. I just need to find the location where it is, but then we'll get into it. Oh yeah, guys, let me tell you my funny Xenoblade Chronicles 3 thing. Don't worry if you have never played Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I will explain this in a way where it makes sense and it's all good and you don't need to know anything about the game, okay? So, in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, there is... in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and in other Xenoblade games, but in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you have a... Hang on a sec. You just looked really bright and colourful, and I couldn't take my eyes off that Sawsbuck there. And there's a Tepig. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what we'll do quickly whilst I tell this Xenoblade story. Let's just very quickly... there was a horsey outbreak. Now, I could, like, make a water-type sandwich and blah, 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 but, like, to maximize the odds. But let's not do that. Let's just take our chances. These mass outbreak thingies have higher shiny odds. And so let's see if the shiny... if the shiny luck is on our side today. Oh no, am I getting congested? How am I getting congested? I don't know. Okay, anyway, Bark. So yeah, we're gonna go here. Whoa, there we go. Right, Horsey, where are you? Oh, here we go, we found Horsey. Okay, so where are the actual Horsey? Okay, here we go. So we'll just wail on all these Horsies and we'll see if we get any shinies, because Horsey is going to be one of the tougher shinies for us to get. So let's see if we can, you know, get any shiny ones. Oh, this is going to be really laggy, isn't it? Yeah, this is going to be laggy. Okay, well, I apologize if this is laggy. That's not the stream. That's just how the game is. Oh, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet don't ever change. Hang on. Azumarill, get it, please. Why isn't Azumarill attacking? Hang on. It's not because it's shiny. It's just because Azumarill's being silly. Hang on. There we go. Oh, this is gonna... You're not shiny, are you? You just look a very weird color. But again, I think that's just the lighting. The lighting in this game is so weird. Yeah, this is going to take a while. So let me tell my Xenoblade story very quickly. So in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, you have in combat... you have like an auto attack. You have these like fancy attacks that kind of build up, and then you can use them periodically. And then if you use the fancy attacks and stuff like in combination with one another and blah blah blah, you can do a chain attack. And a chain attack is a sort of it's almost kind of like semi-scripted in terms of like how it kind of plays out or whatever. In the previous games, there used to be like a bit of button timing, but in this game, it's kind of just like selecting things and watching how it all plays out. But like basically, you have these chain attacks, and chain attacks are where you have your 6 main characters, and the chain attacks are where each of the 6 main characters in turn kind of like gets to attack the enemy that you're against, right? Kind of thing. So you're like. You know, you like to each of the characters like takes it in turns to like have one, you know, whack at the enemy, right? And when you do these chain attacks, whenever you do them, it lists out your characters, and it lists them out in like a particular order from left to right. There's like Noah and Mio and Uni and Tyon and Lance and Senna. Don't worry if you can't remember any of those names, because I'm going to just call them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But the thing about the chain attacks, because I sort of felt like I'm starting to kind of understand these things. I'm getting good at them, but there are some things where it means I have to structure my team of 6, in a particular way to kind of be able to pull off chain attacks as strongly as possible and get the most damage from a chain attack as possible. And the thing that kind of and there were basically like 2 things I had kind of realized that kind of helped me get better chain attacks. One was that it was good having an attacker go first. It's good having like I didn't explain what an attacker is. And your 6 characters, there are like 3 general classes they can have: attacker, defender, and healer, right? So when you're doing like a chain attack, like I say, each of your characters takes it in turns, like hitting the bad guy. And what I kind of figured was that it was good having an attacker go first. Like when you're doing a chain attack, you want like an attacker to go first. Well, like I said, that, you know, it's listed out in number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I was like, okay, it's good having character number 1 be the attacker. And then the healers, the healer characters in a chain attack, they have like this odd quirk where basically there are certain times in a chain attack where they could be really useful and really helpful, but there are also times where it's like not very useful to have like a healer. Like you wouldn't want a healer attacking at a certain point. So there are certain times where you're like, oh, if I had a healer attack here, that'd be really perfect. And then there are times where you're like, oh, if I had I really do not want a healer attacking here. But I was always like, well, you can't really sort of super duper control that because, you know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and, you know, it's just kind of hard to tell when you're like. There are going to be some times where you will reach the healer and the healer will get a go at attacking, and there are some times where you're not going to have your healer get to attack. And so I was kind of like, whatever. But I was like, surely there must be a way to change the order. Surely there must be a way to get it so that Noah, character number 1, isn't like, you know, on the left. Like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Surely there must be a way so that Noah isn't, you know, you can change the order so that Noah can be, say, like, number 4 instead. And here's the thing. There isn't, and this is what I discovered, like, yesterday. There isn't a way to, like, sort of change the order on the screen. Like, the characters will always be listed on screen as, like, Noah, then Mio, then Uni, blah, 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 blah. So 1, then 2, then 3. But here's the thing. You don't need to, like, change the order of how they appear on the screen, because you can just choose which character you want to attack. So when I sort of said, like, oh, the characters take turns, like, each one gets a hit at the enemy, it's like you can choose which one would you like to have a hit at the enemy first. And then after that one's done, you're like, okay, now which one would you like to be the second? And you can just scroll across. You can sort of just use the D-pad to scroll across from, like... So, like, it by default starts on the leftmost number 1 Noah, but you don't have to have Noah be the first one to attack. You can just move the D-pad over to character number 2, or character number 3, or character number 4, and I did not know this. I didn't know that you could select which character. And now that I kind of think about it, I'm like, actually, I think it did say that in the tutorial, but I just can't remember, you know, because it was so overwhelming. The chain attacks are quite complicated at first, so it's kind of hard to take in all the different details about them. But yeah, I didn't realize that you could, so all those times when I was like, say, like, oh, a healer is really inconvenient here, or, oh, it'd be really good if I could use a healer here, it's like I could have just selected a healer to attack or to not attack, because you can choose which one you want to attack. And I've played, I'm on like chapter 6 out of 7. I estimate I'm probably like a good like 80% of the way through this game's story or something. I didn't know this very basic thing about the chain attacks, and at the end of a chain attack you get like a score or like an amount of damage you deal or whatever. And I had like sort of beforehand, before knowing this, I had like been able to like very many times like reach like 1,000,000 points, and I was like, oh my gosh, like instead of like a few 100,000, I was like, yeah, I'm getting like 1,000,000 points now. I'm gonna tweet about how I hit 1,000,000 points now. And then I discovered this thing about the changing the characters, and I was like, let me test this out. And I like found some enemies that I could wail on and do a chain attack on, and like literally the first chain attack I did, I got 1.7 million instead of, you know, like my previous highest was like 1.2 million, you know. So basically, without really trying or coordinating or thinking about it so much, but just having this one new bit of information about how the chain attacks work, I was able to like increase my, you know, my best ever output by like 50% without trying. So there you go, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Like, if there was ever anything that like confuses you or seemed a bit overwhelming at first, go back in the tutorial and look it over later. Like, once you feel like you have a better understanding of it, go back in the tutorial and look it over, because there's a chance that, you know, there was something you didn't take in because your brain could only take in so much. And then, like, but now it has the capacity and capability and ability to actually understand what the heck's going on now. So yeah. Oh, hang on, it's Satella's birthday. Hang on, I gotta pause. It's Satella's birthday? Satella, happy birthday! I hope you have an absolutely super amazingly wonderful day. You've been such a huge support for, like, just me and this channel and everything. So I hope you have just an absolutely incredibly wonderful day. And thank you for spending some of it here with me here at Beau Video Games. That's really kind. And yeah. So hang on, let me just go back and whilst we're just checking through chat and stuff, let me just see if there was anything. The chain attack theme is so good. That's it, because in Xenoblade 3 as well, just quickly, I sort of talked about this. In Xenoblade 2, I didn't really use the chain attacks much because they were kind of related to being able to revive fallen allies, and it's like, well, I'd rather have the lifeline of being able to revive a fallen ally than to get a bit of extra damage off in a chain attack. But then I learned once chain attacks worked and how you actually kind of do... I'm pretty sure it's impossible to beat the final two bosses in Xenoblade 2 without chain attacks. Like, you need to pull off a chain attack. And you need to know how the chain attacks work. You can't just do a chain attack. You need to do it and do a chain attack well. Well, I suppose the exception to whether you could beat them would be if you were, like the final boss in Xenoblade 2 is, like, level 70. And perhaps if you were level 100, you wouldn't need to worry about it, but, like, still. But yeah, in Xenoblade 2, I, like, never did chain attacks, and in Xenoblade 3, I've been doing them all the time, which is why this is really embarrassing, because I was like, I use these things all the time, like, literally every battle I can, that's what I'm gonna do, and yeah, so, but yeah, so, oh, the final boss in Xenoblade 3 is going to be tough. I was just hoping I was going to be so over-leveled, because I'm over-leveled for, like, all the story stuff at the minute. Like, in Xenoblade 2, the final boss was level 70, and I was level 69. Nice. But yeah, but in Xenoblade 3, like, I've just been, like, sort of so over-leveled that, like, no boss has given me... There's not been anything in the story that's, like, given me any trouble in Xenoblade 3. Like, I actually had, like, a random death a couple of weeks ago, which was, like, really, really funny and weird. There was, like, some big bird that I fought, and, like, it picked me up in its talon. It kept picking up people in its talons, and then, like, insta-KOing them. And it basically just KO'd all the people who can revive, It just KO'd the people who can, like, revive allies, and I was like, oh, wait, what? Like, you know, I can't remember if it was particularly high-leveled or anything. I think it was, like, kind of high-leveled, but I was like, this should be fine. Like, I can get a chain attack off or whatever in a minute, and then it was like, oh, no, I can't get a chain attack, and yeah. So, we'll see how it goes. Tenchi, you got a shiny Piplup. Nice. Yeah, that's the thing, Kevin. That, like, the chain attack music is kind of becoming, like, the battle music for me, kind of thing. Because I use them so often. Like, if I'm against, like, I don't know, if I'm against like a group of enemies that aren't like too low leveled, like I will be doing a chain attack because you get extra experience and stuff. So it's like you want to do them because of the benefits. It's going to be really interesting whenever I replay Xenoblade 2, because now I know about the chain attacks and you can get the extra experience from them and stuff. And it wouldn't surprise me if whenever I redo Xenoblade 2, if I am more, it wouldn't surprise me if I am more, come on, Azumarill, get it. It wouldn't surprise me if I, like, do less stuff, like fewer side quests and fewer battles and all this other stuff, but that I end up being, like, more over-leveled, which I know sounds weird, but, see, like, that looks really different colored, but then when you come up close to it, it's like, oh no, it looks the same color as all the others. Anyway, Bark. Well... Come on, Azumarill, because you're being slow. I wish I had a... I suppose I could get something like my Walking Wake out of the box or something. I need a faster swimming Pokemon to deal with swimmers, because I've got my Azumarill, but it is like a bit slow. Like, oh, come on. There we go. Okay. But this was always going to be a bit of a long shot, but it's like, hey, we're going to be going like a bit longer on the stream today than we had in like the previous shiny stream, so we got time to do this. It's fine. Oh, Neo. You know what? Neo just found out that I am the car in Miraculous. Tatsu. Yeah. So for those who don't know, for those who watch Miraculous Ladybug, there is the car, Tatsu, Kagami's mother's car. Kagami's mum has like a sort of... When I say an automatic car, I don't mean like an automatic gearbox. I mean like it can like self-drive. It's like a... Do I dare say autonomous? I suppose it is maybe like an AI car or something. I don't know. But yeah, so she has this car, it can like self-drive and stuff like that. It has like an onboard computer, and I am like the voice of like the onboard computer of the car. I am the voice of Kagami's mother's car, like Faye Marta's mother's car, which is just really fun. Hang on, why are you not attacking? Is it shiny? Go get it. So, Beau for an AI before it was cool. But hey, being an AI is not cool. Well, no, I suppose being an AI is cool, but like, no, I don't know. It's again, I'll get onto the AI stuff in a minute probably as well, because that's something that's probably going to come up today. But like, right, okay, I think we're kind of done for the horsies. They dispersed. I don't think that we're going to see any shinies. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to go to, like, the waters over here or something like that. No, I want to go waters here. And then, oh, whoa, hang on. We just got Wonga. Tenchi just tipped $10. Sending love and shiny luck, Beau. I hope you have a great weekend. Well, thank you so much, Tenchi. And yeah, and I hope you had an amazing birthday. And Satella, I hope you're having an amazing birthday. Yeah, if it's your birthday, happy birthday, as we say here at Beau Video Games. Oh, hang on. Hang on. I just want to check. Lexi, your birthday falls on a Wednesday this year. Well, then I guess we'll have to do a Wednesday stream, won't we? Okay, let's see. And you get the extra CP and stuff. But Xander, you had an instance of a big bird knocking into the void once. Oh, no. Oh, that's... Yeah, that's like... It's annoying when you get knocked off a cliff. Or it gets knocked off a cliff or whatever. Like, yeah, that really sucks. So I'm glad I caught the Wonga today, but I do apologize. Just because, again, when I do the shiny hunts, I don't check chat quite as much. Like, I have to kind of, like, watch for the shinies, and then, like, every 5 or 10 minutes, I'll kind of, like, catch up on chat and stuff like that. So I do apologize. But, right. So, what are we doing? We're going to follow to the flag. Scissors. Okay. So basically, what we're after here, what I'm going to go for next, I think they do spawn here, but I might just check around a bit. Yes, okay, well okay. So there's Lantern, there's Chincho. Okay, excellent. So next I'm going to go for Chincho. You can get Chincho and Lantern. I have Lantern, so I just need Chincho, so let's hope that this works. Oh, let me check one thing. Let me check my list of sandwiches. Because I believe electric... Oh, salty and a spicy? Okay, yeah, we can do that. Let's give this a go. Anime conversations forbid AIR, and there are some VAs that have policies. Yeah, that's been a thing that kind of like has been kicking off. Like, people have been saying, yeah, I'm not gonna sign AIR and stuff like that, which is good. It's just good. Again, it's a bit hard. One thing that's very hard about a lot of like charged issues is language, right? I won't go off on a big political tangent here because we don't, we won't talk about politics, but although I would argue that this is a subject which kind of goes beyond politics, but or it shouldn't be political, but whatever. But like an example from the political world is when people talk about abortion, and a thing about abortion is that, say, like an abortion when you're a few weeks old versus a few weeks from sort of typically being able to give birth to a child are two very different things, but they both have the name abortion, and people talk about those two instances as if they're like the same thing, but they're not the same thing, and it's like a very frustrating thing when people just kind of lump them all in together. And there's kind of a similar thing with AI where but not exactly the same. Ignore that, sorry. But with AI has like a language thing as well, where it's like, look, I'm not like, hang on, it's like my game just okay, that was weird. I think my game did freeze for like a split second there because the clock was still kind of on screen, like half faded for like half a second. But anyway, Buck. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but like the thing with AI... Hang on, what? Did I do salty and spicy there? I hope I did. Let's see what we got. Hang on. Sparkling, title, and cow. Okay, good. Okay, good. Hopefully I did save the game before we made that sandwich. Okay, so we're gonna go here. Here we go. Hang on, you're not shiny, are you? And you're not shiny, are you? I just need to get up on my screen what a Chincho looks like shiny. I know that it's kind of like more, I don't know, I describe it as like luminescent or something, or luminous in its color scheme, but... Oh, I can get rid of Tyrogue. Nice. Oh yeah, it's like a lighter blue, and then its eyes and stalks are a bit more greeny. Like, it's almost more kind of like, I don't know. It's more like a sky blue instead of a rich blue. So I don't think I need to worry about, like, oh, knocking out each one individually or anything like that. And then Lantern, ugh, Lantern's hard to tell. Basically, we don't want Lantern because I already have Lantern, so... Right, Azumarill, come back, unless that's a wild Azumarill. Oh, I actually can't get rid of my Azumarill. I'm trying to, like, recall it back into my Pokeball, and it's not working. Hang on, I need to just change my Pokemon quick. There we go. Okay, that was weird. That was a weird... I think I have heard about that glitch and stuff, but that's weird. I might need to go somewhere else to look for Chinchos, because I'm not sure if this is really, like, a big enough stretch of water. And they don't seem to be spawning quite enough as I had hoped. Let's just go this way for a sec, and then... Yeah, let's just go to like the top of the waterfall quickly, see if we can get some chinchos spawning at the top of the waterfall. Okay, let's see. Whoop. No, this is actually like way too narrow as well, isn't it? Okay, there are no chinchos spawning at the top of the water. Okay, let's go back down. Sorry, I apologize. This is why you should plan out your streams, Beau. Right, we're gonna get some horsies. This might be a good place to hunt for horsies, because horsey seems like the only Pokemon that spawn in these little bits of water. So maybe you could shiny hunt for a horsey here. But anyway, Buck, I think this is where I did get my lantern originally. So let's see if we can get some chinchos spawning. Oh no, that's a Geodude. I don't want Geodudes. No. Where are the best place for the chinchos to spawn? I'm a bit worried now. I need chincho to spawn. Unless I just made like the wrong kind of sandwich there. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, so we're talking about AI. Sorry, because I'm like, I need to like find like a good spot for Chincho, but where did I get my lantern? It'd help if I remembered where I got my lantern so that I could then get my Chincho in a similar spot. Why are like not many Chinchos spawning? This is the thing that's annoying me as well. Like, just like spawn Chinchos. Chincho bro. Chin bro. Right, Squirtle. I might just look up on Cerebi where Chincho spawns. Because this is kind of annoying me. Like, why am I not getting many Chinchos? Do you know what I mean? Like, I should only be getting Chinchos with an electric sandwich. Look, we've got Sparkling and Encounter Electric all the way up. Ugh. See, now some of that anxiety's kicking in. No. This is why I want to just find Chinchos, because once I find Chinchos, I can concentrate on stuff, and then I don't have to think about anything. Okay. AI. What were we saying about AI? Oh, yeah. So, oh, no. Is it like here? Come on, Chincho. Hang on. Maybe it was like more over here. I'm gonna go more over there. Okay. Magnemites, don't really care. Oh, my... Hang on, right, Aloma Molars. Here we go, Chincho, Lantern, Chincho. Okay, here we go, this was where it was. I knew it was somewhere in the, like, canyon place, but I just could not... Right, we'll zoom in so that we can actually see these things. But yeah, this is better. Or at least it's like a bigger spot, do you know what I mean? Like, it may not necessarily be better in terms of like, oh, look at all these Chinchos spawning or whatever, but it is better in terms of being like more open. Okay, so I mean, but no, actually no, look at how many are spawning. I mean, I know a bunch of these are lanterns, so I'll need to be aware of that, but still. Okay. Oakley dokley. Let's see what we got. Oh, so sorry, so AI art. Sorry, we'll get back to it. So no. So my thing, so my thing about AI, I've sort of talked about this a bunch, so I won't go on and on and on and on and on. I've talked about how there are like some like medical uses for AI, such as replacing someone's who's like lost their voice, so that if they need to speak using like some kind of speech aid, it can be with their own voice. That is absolutely wonderful and brilliant and amazing. If you have, you know, there are other, you know, like, I don't know, just like some computer programs and stuff like that using AI is like cool. Like, you know, I don't know, like some, you know, I mean, even something like the Google search engine, it's kind of something where it's like, you know, it sort of technically has like a self-building kind of quality to it, where like if a load of people start looking up something, Google search will kind of pick up on that, and it will know what kind of like search results or autofill to kind of like fill out the sentence with, you know. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of it. I sort of had an example in my head, but I was like, no, don't use that example. But like there we go. We arrived at my destination. Cool. But like, how long do we have on this sandwich? Okay, we've only been going like 7 or 8 minutes. That's fine. So there are things, so, you know, so there, like, not all AI is like inherently bad or whatever. And if you know, if Pokemon, if like computer players in a Pokemon game, if that's AI, you know, then hey, AI is not bad because I like Pokemon or whatever. But like, you know, but so yeah, not all of it is terrible or whatever. But it's the generative stuff. It's and it's sort of just sort of the generative stuff, because it's like how that stuff is trained and what it kind of is doing for like artists and stuff like that. You know, yeah, if you have something like an AI talk bot or something, that's not really, I don't know, that's not really affecting anything. It's like an interesting, like, that's kind of quirky, like, oh, what can I get it to say? What can I get it to whatever? But when you've got like people kind of like, you know, see, like that Seadra looks one color and this Seadra looks another color, and I know that neither is shiny, but still. Actually, hang on, where did all the Chinchos go? I need to go back. There's, where am I going with this? Sorry, my again, I do apologize. Busy week, and I'm anxious and stuff. I do apologize. So anyway, Bark. But and this is all stuff I've talked about, so I'm trying not to like talk about it all the exact same way as I've done before, like 50 bajillion times. But it's the generative AI because it kind of like, it does like steal art, and it does kind of borrow, it does just like steal things, and it doesn't have a concept of what stealing is. And it's just kind of like, and it does sort of take away things from people and artists and stuff, and it's not good. And then with the voices, it's just very weird because it's like making people say things is just weird as well. Like, you know, like making people say things that they didn't say is just like a very creepy and weird thing. And it's like, and when people say like, but here's the thing, I feel like when people say like, oh, well, you shouldn't be able to do it without permission, I feel like, yeah, but I feel like that permission needs to be really super duper explicitly expressed. Like, you can't just sort of bury in like a 7-page contract like, oh yeah, we can, if we want to use any AI we can. Like, no, you need to have like a separate AI contract. It can't just be like a sentence or two in like an existing, you know, in like some contract buried in there. Because when people read contracts, it's just, you know, I like read contracts and I try to get my head around them, but there's only so much you kind of only really truly understand. And the thing is, different people have different definitions of what things mean. Like, if you say something like, you know, if you sign something where it's like, don't divulge any company secrets, what you would consider a company secret and what someone else would consider a company secret. I think that's shiny. Well, it's not an electric type, but I'll take it. Well, that'll make my my eventual horsey hunting easier, because like now that's like one less I need to get. Excellent. Chat. Hang on. Can we do like electric? So like lightning bolts, fish, and sparkles. Oh, hang on. And maybe maybe if you want to do light bulbs, like light bulbs, thunderbolts, fish, and sparkles. Lightning bolts. Hang on. So lightning bolts, light bulbs, fish, and sparkles, and we'll see if we can get this Chincho, because it worked for Tyrogue. Just asking for it got me Tyrogue. So let's get those emojis in the chat. And but I do apologize. That's why it's like I need to like concentrate, and I do apologize if I don't look at chat, because that's how you spot the shinies. You gotta look at them. Okay, Chincho and Lantern. And Lantern and Chincho. But yeah, no. But one of the reasons why I'm talking about AI, like, yet again, is just because it's like, this is what, but it's kind of part of why we're doing a shiny stream today instead of that. Meowscarada is stuck. Oh yeah, because of this glitch thing. Yeah, you get this glitch thing where like your partner Pokemon, like, I don't know, it gets like stuck outside its Pokeball, and it's like until you, I don't know, like warp or do something weird, it doesn't really change. Anyway, Buck. So, whoa. So, because basically, you know, I originally started doing like a lot of shiny hunting streams because I was like, we might be on strike soon or whatever. And then actually that still hasn't happened. And I think right now, we are less likely to have a strike because, again, like when there was the strike for like the TV and the movies, I thought, and forgive me, but I think a lot of my colleagues did as well, that the point of that was to be like, no AI. That's the whole point. Like, I thought the thing that we were fighting for was to have no AI, to be able to say, no, we don't want AI in television and movies. That's just, no, we don't want that. And for movies to sort of accept that, like, yeah, if we're going to do something union, we're not going to use AI tech to, like, develop it or create it or anything. You know, like, that would kind of be, and we're not allowed to, like, take anything from our projects to feed or utilize for AI tech. Like, to train it and stuff like that. So, I thought that's what we're fighting for, and I think that's what a lot of my friends and colleagues were fighting for, or believed they were fighting for. But now that's not really the case. And I suppose really we should have been tipped off when the writers' strike kind of ended with some allowances for AI. Like, that maybe should have been the clue that, like, oh, but I think the thing about that is, I think for the writers' strike, I thought, well, obviously you don't want AI in writing or AI written scripts or anything. But I thought maybe it's not as big a deal because hopefully I can kind of make sense what I say here. I'm not a writer, so I'm not good with words. But like, writing, like, when you write, you are like a creator. You are creating the thing that you write, and it's kind of like, I don't know, there are only like so many combinations of like words and letters and stuff like that. So if you do get like some kind of auto-generated text, it's kind of hard to, like, I don't know, like, you may just end up flat out stealing someone's writing, yes, but it's kind of like writing styles and stuff like that. It's kind of like, you know, like, sort of an AI could generate a sentence where it's like, you know, if you're like, hey, could you write me a resignation letter? Maybe the AI would steal a letter, but maybe it would just, like, but there are things that maybe, like, the letter would say that's like, yeah, a lot of people would say that in a resignation letter. Like, there's nothing particularly unique or special about it. You know, like you always begin a letter with, like, dear so and so. You know, it's like you wouldn't be like, oh, they started their letter with dear so and so, they're copying me. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say there. And so, but the thing about, like, the sort of acting strike is, I don't know, you're kind of almost more part of, like, you're more like a cog in a machine. You're not sort of like, you're sort of less of like a creator kind of thing, and there's just more of a, like, I don't know. Like, sort of, it's sort of like, there isn't really, like, say, like, puppeting someone's writing, but there is about, like, puppeting someone's face or voice. Like, does that kind of make sense? I'm not trying to, like, diminish what the writers were fighting for or anything. Like, AI was a concern, but I think the AI in writing was a concern in a different way. I feel like it was a bit more, hang on, let's get a zoomer roll back. I feel like it was a bit more, kind of just to do with, like, not eroding someone's livelihood or job kind of thing. Like, if people started using AI to, like, write stuff, it means you don't need writers kind of thing, and, like, that was the issue, just about the not needing writers. Whereas with actors, there's this kind of added layer of, like, that's my face, that's my voice, but I'm not the one using it, right? And so I think, like, that's kind of, like, I'm not saying an AI couldn't, like, steal someone's writing style, but I feel like that's a little bit, I don't know, more of, like, a subjective thing or something. If that makes sense. Again, I'm not trying to, like, diminish the writers, but that's why I didn't look at the writers saying AI was okay and being like, oh, well, this means that, like, the TV and film actors are gonna, like, cave on the AI. And, you know, so it's kind of like, so that's why I didn't look at, say, the way that the writers' strike ended and thought, like, oh no, like, this is really concerning for the actors. Like, I wasn't like worried about that at all or anything. But now that we've had this strike that's kind of ended with, like, a slight sort of rolling over to the and submitting to the AI, you know, now I kind of think, well, for video games, like, the end goal isn't going to be, you know, they're not going to negotiate a deal where there's, like, no AI. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they didn't do that for TV and movies, like, they're probably not going to do it for games. There probably there could even be a lot of people who don't really have a whole lot to do with video games, like, working on the negotiating. They also might have a load of people, but they also might not. So it's kind of like, you know, if a bunch of people who do TV and movies allowed for AI in TV and movies, they're not going to be like, oh, but for games we can't, you know. So it's kind of one of those things where I think it's looking less likely that we're going to strike on the video games now, but it's still like, well, just in case, and just because of some plans and stuff that I have for this year. There may be a couple of weekends this year where I'm unable to stream or don't stream or whatever. So, you know, I don't know. I had a whole plan for this year, like I said, and then it got derailed by the possibility of striking, and now I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I would even feel up to doing the plan that I had anymore, now that for, like, 2 or 3 months I've been like, oh, well, I'm not doing that anymore kind of thing. Like, if I now just jumped back into, oh, I can do that thing again, it's like, well, no, I've had, like, 2 or 3 months of thinking I'm not going to do it, you know. So, but yeah. So that is my waffle about upcoming streams, and I hope you guys are okay with shiny hunting. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'm going to check the chat and look at all your lovely emojis, and then we'll see what happens with. But let's see. Whoa, Miss Warnigan's got a 4th shiny Sobble. That is incredible. Let's see. let's see. There's Lantern to remind you. Who's excited for Lantern right in Genshin? Good you're able to find it because Cerebi doesn't show the spawns. What? It must do. No, I'm sure I've looked up Chincho on Cerebi. Or Cerebi. I'm sure I have. I'm not going to have to look this differently. Okay, anyway, Bark. Sharkbite, you're going to head out. Thank you so much for joining. You've probably already left, but thank you so much. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I feel like there's going to be lesser union jobs and more non-union jobs. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird... I sort of said this last week, but it's just hard. Like, I get why people say... It's like, yeah, but if we don't, like, allow for AI, then it just means that, like, a load of work is going to go non-union. And that's, like, a totally fair and valid argument, and it's one that is probably true. But the thing is, it's kind of... But my argument would be, like I sort of said last week, why couldn't union jobs just be like... Why couldn't they be like, no, we're going to be classy. We are going to make art. Why can't... Like, if we do something that's union, it's only going to have human people. In the way that a farmer might say... And again, sorry, this isn't, like, the best comparison, but it's all I've kind of got right now. But, like, a farmer could say, right, I'm going to have free-range chickens, and they're going to have all this space to run around and lay eggs, and that's how I am going to be an egg farmer. That's how I am going to sell and distribute and produce eggs. I am going to do it by... you know, sort of by raising my chickens in that way. And then there's some people who are like, well, I want to have as many chickens and many eggs and as many whatever as possible, and I'm going to shut them all up and feed them just like grain or whatever. And it's like, those are two very different ways of making eggs. One would call one sort of classy and humane, and the other would call it like unclassy and unhumane or whatever. But basically, it's like, but, you know, the guy who's like, you know, doing the whole free range thing, does he have to do it that way? No, like, he's allowed to do the other thing. Could he make more eggs? Could he produce more eggs that way, that other way? Probably. But, like, you know, could it maybe, say, be more, like, cost-effective or whatever? And it's like, the answer's yes, but, like, he does it because it's, like, it's what he wants to do and what he thinks is, like, the best thing to do. And... You know, and it's like, so I don't really get why sort of you couldn't say, hey, you know, union acting is going to be where it's the real deal, you know? And I don't really get why that couldn't have been a thing. Again, I know it's like, people could say, yeah, well, but then, like, stuff's going to want to use it, and then they'll just all go non-union. But it's kind of like, but the thing is if you don't put enough shackles on it, then we've, like, lost anyway. And if you do put too many shackles on it, then it begs the questions, well, why don't, if there are all these shackles on, like, union AI, why wouldn't places just either just go non-union, or why don't you just make it so you can't have any AI? Why put in a loophole? Why give them an inch because if you give them an inch, they could end up taking a mile. Like, so that was all the stuff I kind of argued last week. But I think isn't that like a fair thought process? I mean, forgive me if I'm, you know, like, I don't know. Just, yeah, I don't know. Just forgive me if that sort of sounds weird. It's like, no, we've got to allow AI. It's inevitable. But I feel like saying AI is inevitable, and that's why we have to accept it and use it in union stuff. It's kind of like I agree that, like, it's inevitable, because, you know, like, people are going to start messing around in politics with deepfakes and stuff like that. I mean, they already, like, have been, but like, still. How many minutes we got left on this thing? 6 minutes. Good golly gosh. We are running out of time. I hope I haven't, like, passed a bunch of Chincho, but just, like, not paid attention. But I did spot that Seadra. Like, I'm not really even looking at Horsey and Seadra, and I still spotted that Seadra. So I like to think I know what I'm doing here. Here at Beau Video Games. But yeah, so I know... I don't get why the union couldn't have said we're gonna be like classy, we're gonna do things right. This is where workers can do work or whatever. And I feel like with the AI thing, it's a bit different than comparing it to say something like automation. I'm actually like a very pro automation person. I think I've talked about this before, so I won't go off on like a massive tangent here. Like if we finish this shiny hunt and I'm still talking about automation, I'll shut up and move on to the next topic. But like automation for a lot of things has been like very, very good because it's saved human beings from like a lot of tedious, menial work that's like unfulfilling, and that is often quite dangerous and stuff like that. If you take something like potato chips or crisps, and you go to a potato chip or crisp factory, it's like a remarkable thing. You know, once upon a time, like 100 years ago, if you were like making crisps or something like that, you know, there would have been a lot more stuff done by hand. There would have probably been things like people frying the crisps sort of more manually, which means there's like hot bubbling oil and people probably getting all kinds of like burns and injuries and like limbs taken off by machinery and stuff like that. Whereas by having like an automotive process, it saves people tedious jobs. It saves them those burns and those limbs and everything else. And so it's like that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. It means people can go and do other things. But it's like, you know, like sort of art is the other thing. That's what we, you know, that's what we do it for, kind of thing. And yeah, so it's just this funny old silly old thing where it's kind of like, well, I wouldn't like compare it to automation because again it's kind of like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel it doesn't feel the same. With like automation, it's kind of a bit of a thing where like you hit a button and you press go and it is a bit more like automatic, whereas AI voices doesn't seem automatic. You're still kind of crafting something, but just in like a different way, and it's sort of like a dirtier process. So yeah, I don't know. But right, I'm gonna check chat one more time before we get into this final stretch. Neo, you weren't listening properly. Beau wants to lay eggs. No. No, nor do I want to produce them, nor do I want to anything else. So, yeah. But yeah, so it's just a bit. But so, in conclusion, I don't think we're going to be striking, but there, you know, if I am going to do these other projects that I was like, oh, I'm going to stream this or whatever, I may just wait a couple of months anyway, just to get some things out the way and get some things done and dusted, kippers and custard, and then I can you know, sort of get those out the way, and then we can just kind of start afresh, and yeah. But yeah, so I do apologize that we will just be doing shiny hunting for a while, but yeah, I may as well just see if anything happens with these strikes, and again, a point may come where we're still not actually sure whether we're going to strike or not. But I'll be like, oh, let's just move on to the thing that I wanted to do and have been planning for like half a year anyway or whatever. But yeah, but like in like I don't know, like late summer or something like that last year, I like had planned out what I was gonna do for 2024, and then when the strike happened, I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna wait now. And then, yeah, then now we've just kind of be left in limbo, putting the bow in limbo for quite a while. So, yeah. But yeah. So, what else? What am I... Oh yeah, I talked about how the games I'm playing are giving me anxiety. But let's talk about how they're also bringing me a lot of fun and fulfillment as well. So Xenoblade 3, yeah, I'm on like chapter 6 out of 7. I haven't really... The amazing thing is I haven't really done any story for what might be something like a week or something. I like don't know how long it's been since I last did any story. It's definitely been like a good few days. And again, in fairness, I've been kind of busy the last few days or whatever, so I've kind of just... One, I've not been playing games necessarily as much. Two, you know, like my Fire Emblem Three Hopes has kind of been like building up or whatever. And then, I'm really annoyed if this sandwich doesn't work. But then again, I did make the shortcut electric sandwich rather than the proper electric sandwich, so... Who knows? Actually, I tell you what. We will do an electric type sandwich next, but not for Chincho. I have a plan. I know what I'm going to hunt next. Okay, so... Anyway, Bark. Actually, what? Oh, I've got 3 seconds! Oh, well, that's the end of the sandwich. Okay. Anyway, Bark. I'm also going to use the loo in a second. So, but then I'll come right back and we'll make a sandwich, like, right away. Okay, hang on, let's get this Cedra. And then we'll put it here. Lovely. And then we'll grab this and we'll save. And then we'll warp to the next location. And then I will quickly nip to the loo. And then I'll be right back and we'll do more shiny hunting. Let's hope our luck changes, just because we're having okay luck, but I think we could be having some better luck. But yeah, good luck with Muck and its poison gas. Make one wrong move and Jareth will sass. Isn't that how the song goes? I don't know. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, so I will be right back. Let me just pause the game, and I'll be right back. See you guys in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Like and subscribe if you have... Hey, hello, welcome, I'm back. Okay, so... But yeah, no. But with Xenoblade 3, it's really funny. I haven't touched the story much in a few days because I realized. So there are like 3 reasons. One, I realized I hadn't. Or I realized I hadn't like got all the heroes. I like looked up. I was like, okay, what heroes am I missing? And so I like went and got those, and it also meant I had to do like a couple of like small side quests to unlock the hero quests and stuff. And then, or maybe that might be for the other thing, which was the characters have like ascension quests. So they have like I said earlier, there's like attacker, defender, healer, and there's like for like each character has a different type of like, you know, like, oh, there's like sword attacker and this attacker and, you know, Zephyr defender and other kind of defender. I don't know, but like and like the healers. There's like the medic healer, the war medic, and the tactician and stuff like that. And basically each one of these like little subcategories has each one of these little subcategories has a let's go sour. I don't know why, but let's go sour. And we'll use the Kevin pick. Hang on, I just want to check something. Come on. Hang on, that needs to go up a little bit. There we go. Sorry about that. So you got these different classes, and you basically have these like ascension quests to like boost like how high you can raise them, kind of thing. So it's like, oh, like yeah, you can have like a level, like a rank 10 sword, dude, but now if you do this quest, you can have like a level 21 or that kind of thing. I actually haven't got the sword one yet because I actually can't. That comes like later in the game. But I basically discovered there are these like, I was like, yeah, how do you get this rank above 10? I can see that you can get it above 10, but how do you actually get it above 10? And it was like, oh, there are quests. And I'm like, oh, for the love of Nelly. So I had kind of like, one of the quests I had kind of almost like started anyway, kind of thing. I just hadn't like initiated it yet. I'd done like everything I needed to do except like do the final initiation of it. And then I'd done everything except like the final initiation of it. And then sorry, where am I going with this? And then like a couple of the others I really didn't have much to do. It's like, oh, I just need to go to this place. And so I was like, yeah, I want to do that because I want to be like more powerful for like the end of the game or whatever. And then okay, so what we're looking for here, I might need to go to like the correct place because I don't know where the correct place is. Oh, hey, look, a bunch of Charmanders. We're doing an electric sandwich, and we're here in like the savannah because the Pokemon we're looking for is. Hang on, I just need to check. Did we have sparkling encounter? Yeah, cool. The thing that we need. Aha! Mr. Irvin Blitzel. So, we're after Blitzels. Hopefully they should spawn. Blitzel. Oh, okay, and Zeb Striker. Excellent. So I do just need to look up what these look like. But, or I'll get them on my screen just so I can remind myself. Basically, they're like a slightly off-color blue or something like that. It's not the biggest difference, but hey, it's better than them just flipping the black stripes and the white stripes around. Am I right? Okay. So yeah. Oh, the eyes are different. Oh, okay. So they're a bit more blue, and then like the eyes are green instead of blue. And then for Zeb Striker, they're kind of more purpley, and then the eyes are different as well. So I think Zeb Striker is probably a bit easier to spot, like the purple instead of black. For Blitzel, it'll be harder to tell like the blue. But yeah, this should be doable. We'll get Meowscarada to come in and KO a bunch of Pokemon as well. But yeah, I am just going to be running around in a circle for like half an hour looking at zebras. Or zebras if you're American. But yeah, there we go. Okay, so. But yeah, so Xenoblade had these extra quests, and I'm like, oh man, I want to do these extra quests, and then it sort of means you have to do some other little quests to like activate the quest sometimes or whatever, and then just sometimes if you're in an area and you're like, oh, there's a quest here, I'll check out what this is, how quick it is, and so I've kind of been doing that, and then basically it was like Thursday night or something. That I kind of finished all these ascension quests, and I've got all the heroes. I've done all the ascension quests for the main characters. You can get ascension quests for the heroes, but I don't care about doing that because that's too much, man. I swear, I was like keeping on top of quests, and now they just seem to be like more and more and more of them. And I'm like, do these quests ever die down? Like just like general quests? And I think the answer is no. I think there's just like an infinite amount of them, I suspect. Oh, for the love of Meowscarada. See that glitch thing? See how it's just standing there? And that's like a weird glitch thing that happens when you like send out your Pokemon too much or whatever, and it's just like, ugh. So then I have to get it back. Okay, well, we won't be knocking them out, even though I would prefer that. I would rather send out my Armarouge and, you know, but whatever. Right, let's see. Okay, hang on. I'm not seeing as many Zeb Striker anymore, am I? I need to go more over this way, because I've gone in too big a circle. There we go. There's one. But you are just regular, right? Like, your eyes look very bright and colourful. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, so it's funny. On Thursday, I basically did all the stuff that I said I wanted to. Oh, for the love of my Armarouge is now stuck. Let's get Meowscarada back. Let's just not use the shortcut thing. I might like save and turn off the game between the next shiny hunt just to fix this, because it's like the only way to fix it, I think. But it's just annoying because it means I can't see, like here where there's like a bunch of Zeb Striker all split out. What I would have done is I would have sent out my Meowscarada to like attack all the ones on the right hand side, and then whilst I investigate the ones on the left hand side, so it speeds up your shiny hunting. But no, we don't have that luxury today, which sucks. But okay, Mr. Irvin Blitzel, if you understand that reference, kudos. Seriously, if you do, let me know if you understand that reference, because that's a fun one. It's what I think about every time I see a Blitzel. But still, okay. Anyway, Bark. But yeah, so. But it's really funny. So on Thursday, I finally did everything. And then like on Friday, it's like, cool, I can now progress the story on Xenoblade. But I'd had my really busy day yesterday. I was late. It was late. I was tired. And I kind of was like, you know what? I kind of might just see if I can do a few extra random quests rather than like move the story forward, because yeah, I don't really want to, like, it's just one of those things where I didn't want to start moving the story forward and then getting stuck on cutscenes and sucked into story and like playing the game for like 3 hours, because I wanted to like go to bed at a decent time and stuff yesterday, and yeah, it was just kind of like, oh no. Yeah, I'm not getting stuck. I'm not getting caught up in all that. I'm just gonna do regular stuff. But then it's funny because I ended up kind of wasting time doing regular stuff. For those who've played the game, there's this quest you can do where they're like these enemies called Turkins, and there's a group of people who have like an alliance with the Turkins where they like bring them food. It's basically a Bug's Life, and it's like, but they sort of are like, oh, should we like break the pact, or like, we don't have the food. Should we break the pact, or should we go for like really super duper forage for the food? And the people are like, and you can choose. You can choose which one you want to do. And I was like, and I sort of saw there's like these items, like, I don't know, these like green nectarine or tangerine or whatever it was. You had to like collect 50 of them, and I like had 45, and I was like, well, I'll try and go down the peaceful route. I'm so close to having the number that I need that I might as well see if I can just collect the remaining 5. But I didn't really know where to look, so it took a while to like get 5 more, and they're kind of a rare item. But eventually I sort of got into a groove, and I explored a couple of new places as well, because you get sucked into like, ooh, here's a new place I haven't been, like whilst looking for these things, and then eventually, finally, you know, I got the 50, and then it immediately is like, oh, you also need these like shiny roses or something. And I'm like, oh, what? No, I just got the green tangerine. Like, okay, fine. I've got like 40 odd of these like roses or whatever. I'll see if I can like get more of them. I had like 40 of them. You know, the original thing I had 45. These things I had 40 of them. I was like, and now that I kind of know this area a bit better, I can just kind of walk along the path that I've been walking and see if I find any of these items. And like, lo and behold, I found a couple of them pretty quickly. So then I like was like, okay, I'll focus on this area. And so I went to that area and I focused on it. And then I like got more of them, which was really great. And I got more of them, which is really good. And then I got those up to 50, and I was like, phew, right, done. And then it's like, you actually have this, like, Turkenweed thing that you need to go get as well, and you only have, like, 30 of them. And I was like, what? I was like, do I really want to do this? And I was like, okay, I think because I unlocked this quest, like, weeks ago, but I just haven't done it. And I was like, okay, I think that there's only... I think if I remember right, it did ask for like 3 items. They were like, oh, there are these 3 items and you need to collect them. So I was like, this is the 3rd one. And now that I know this area well and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I've probably collected a bunch of this item already. And it's probably really easy to find. I just haven't been paying attention because I was, you know, looking for the roses before and the green tangerines before that. So, like, this is probably going to be fine. And I started going on the path, and lo and behold, very quickly, I started to gather this material, and I got from 30 to 50, like, incredibly quickly, like, faster than it took for me to get from the 45 to 50 on the green tangerines, right? Good. Fantastic. Lovely stuff. And so, that was it. I got the 3rd item. It was wonderful. I'd spent like an hour or two sort of trying to, you know, get these items and find this path, and then also get a bit distracted exploring these sort of hidden pathways that I hadn't explored in this area. But I finally did it. I got the 3 items. And then it's like, oh, you actually need this 4th item. And it was like, a 4th item? And then, and this was the real kicker, it was like, you only have 5 of them. And I was like, so hang on, in all this time, because like, with the other items, where I say, like, I had, like, 30 or 40 of them, I had probably, like, collected a bunch of them whilst trying to, you know, collect the other item, if that makes sense. Like, whilst I was collecting one item, I probably had been slowly building up my tally for the other item. Whereas with this one, if I had, like, been hunting for 3 items and, like, collecting all of those... And during all that collecting of, like, those items, plus many, many random other ones, I only got 5 of this other thing. It's like, yeah, I ain't finding, like, 45 of these anytime soon in any kind of haste at all. I am just gonna choose violence. And, you know, like, we're going to go with the end of a bug's life, not the middle of a bug's life, where they fight off the grasshoppers instead of feeding them. And yeah, that's what I chose, and I just decided to beat up these Turkins instead of feed them. And I basically probably wasted an hour finding green tangerines and whatever else. I'm going to check chat quickly. Oh, your girls are unique. Hang on. Where have we got? So let's see. Spyro, waiting for Persona 3. Pokemon songs, make sure to hydrate. Let's see. Do. Hang on. What's going on here? Oh, hang on. There we go. Let's see. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum. But yeah, your girls are unique. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sorry if I've missed anyone else. And Zach, bye. I mean, you've gone already. Um, okay. Um, Ryan, hello, lovely to see you. Yeah, it's been a while since I've last seen you. Lovely to see you. We are hunting for shiny Blitzel, but unfortunately, the Pokemon following mechanics aren't working particularly well. So it's a little bit harder to shiny hunt for them because it's nice having Meowscarada to take on Blitzels and Zebstrikers for us. So it's a little bit slower going. We are 12 minutes into this shiny hunt almost. And that's kind of it. Right, okay. So we'll have to see how this goes. But, oh, I guess chat. Is there a zebra emoji? Zebra emojis, thunderbolts, and sparkles. So, lightning bolts, Zebstrikers or zebras and sparkles. Those three things. Spam the chat with them, and then that might fix this problem. Okay, so okay. Anyway, but but yeah, so it's funny. So I kind of ended up probably wasting my Friday night anyway, because I sort of was collecting all these things that I then didn't use or give to these Turkins, because they were overly demanding. I don't know if that final item was the final item, or whether I would have been sprung with another item I needed to collect 50 of, so... whatever. Just whatever. But I still did get some other tasks done and stuff like that, which is pretty cool, so... And the thing is... I think once I get into the final chapter of the game, I will sort of go back to each colony and just double check what tasks I have, and I might complete some of the simpler ones and stuff that I've missed. Because there are some tasks where it's oh, I'm about the same level as what's recommended. I'll come back once I'm a higher level. And then there are some where I just never really went back. So, yeah. Right, Zebstriker and Blitzel and Zebstriker and Blitzel. Oh yeah, did anyone get the reference? The Blitzel reference? I don't know. I actually do have a question for Xander, Kevin, and my Xenoblade peeps. Put your hands up if you're a Xenoblade peep, because I always just say Xander and Kevin, and I feel sorry for Xander and Kevin that they have become my sort of Xenoblade lightning rod. And I'll talk about Fire Emblem and other games in a second as well. I promise I won't just talk about Xenoblade for the rest of the stream, because it's not giving me any shiny luck today. But Xander and Kevin, I do have a question for you. Or do I? What was my question? I can't remember. Actually, no, I don't. But the point is... well, no, I suppose I kind of do. But no, basically, an interesting thing about Xenoblade 3, from what I can tell, there was a character I talked to very early on, a Nopon, and the Nopon was and the Nopon said, I talked to a Nopon, and there's a Nopon who's oh, come back and talk to me once you've completed the game. He literally says something that's very fourth wall breaking like that, when the game is complete or whatever. And I was wait, this game has a post game? I can't really remember whether the first game has any post game, but in number 2, in Xenoblade 2, when you save before the final boss, there's kind of a, you're about to face the final boss, you're not going to be able to save during this or anything like that, and once you resave the game again, you're going to be taken back to this point. So I kind of wasn't, and because 3 does have a sort of post-game DLC story, I wasn't sure. I just assumed that 3 would be the same, that 3 wouldn't have any post-game content. But does does Xenoblade 3 have any sort of what I guess, like, post-game content? Does it have, like, some kind of story or quests, or does it just sort of have some things where it's like, here's a couple of things that are now available to, like, I know, for example, there's, like, a character you can get, there is one final hero that you can get only once you've beaten the game, so I do know that, but are there actually any, like, story things where there's, like, cutscenes or anything, or is the sort of post-game story just saved for, like, DLC? Is it just one of those things where it's like you can go back and beat all the missions that you missed and fight all the bosses that you didn't fight and get all the heroes who you didn't collect? Is it more of a that thing, or is it like, no, there actually is, like, there is, like, a post-game? I know that's a weird distinction to make. I suppose I'd put it this way. Is it more like, say, something like Pokemon Red and Blue, where, like, you can get Mewtwo if you want to count that as post-game, but that's kind of it. Like, the post-game in Red and Blue is just facing the Elite Four, like, a bajillion times, and like, level and grinding up your Pokemon to, like, level 100. That's the post-game in the original game. There's not really a post-game. But, like, then there are other games where, like, they actually do have, like, a post-game. There's, like, a story. There's, like, something for you to follow. Like, go to this marker. Go talk to these characters. Go beat this sort of boss and stuff like that. So, if, like, any of my Xenoblade peeps can sort of clarify which of those two it is, maybe you already have in the chat. Maybe I should check the chat. Because we are not having good luck shiny hunting today, are we? New heroes and the super bosses. Okay, and the super boss has cutscenes. Okay, interesting. Okami Spiderbrush, you're a Xenoblade peep as well. Lovely to see you, by the way. Hey. Lovely to see you. Excellent. So, because I don't know if you know Okami Spiderbrush, but, like, I last year in the summer played Xenoblade 2. And then this Christmas, I've been playing, and sort of, like, up till now, I've been playing Xenoblade 3. So, and first time for each game, first time experience. So I'm still playing 3 right now, so I don't know. I'm in chapter 6, so that's all I know. But yeah, okay. Because, basically, here's the thing I want to... Because basically, here's kind of, like, my plan for... So I'm playing Xenoblade 3 and Fire Emblem 3 Hopes at the minute, right? Those are my 2 games I'm playing. And basically... what I was thinking originally was, I was like, I think I'm probably going to beat Xenoblade first. And that was before I got caught up in all these, like, side stories for, like, a few days. But, you know, I was like, oh, wow, I'm on, like, chapter 5, chapter 6. You know, I probably am going to get to the end soon. You know, and I was like, if I beat Xenoblade first, rather than, like, jump right into the DLC... I would then focus on finishing Fire Emblem rather than, like, continue to juggle 2 games. And that was my plan. But then, you know, I'm getting caught up in the Xenoblade story now. So now I'm thinking maybe I might end up, like, focusing on Fire Emblem 3 Hopes a bit more, just to, like, kind of, like, quote unquote get that out the way. And also because I think I have chosen a sort of shorter story path in that game, albeit accidentally. It's actually not what I wanted to choose, but I accidentally chose it. So yeah, but basically, whichever game I beat first, I'll then focus on the other. But the thing about Xenoblade 3 that I was kind of wondering about and worrying about and concerned about or whatever was basically the spanner I had thrown in the works was I was like, wait, if there's a post game, like, because, like, when I beat Tears of the Kingdom, there were still loads of things that I did and, like, wanted to do. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna grind to max out this item and this like suit. I'm gonna max out these outfits and stuff. I want to get the bubble gems and all this other stuff. So even though I had beaten Tears of the Kingdom after, like, a month or whatever, a month or 2, like, got the credits to roll after, like, between, like, a month or 2, I still played the game for ages after I beat it. And it's just, and, like, one of the things that was, like, hard, awkward, and difficult was knowing, like, when do you stop? When do you call it, like, game done? Because I haven't actually, like, 100%ed Tears of the Kingdom. I probably 100%ed, you know, there are aspects I 100%ed, but I probably only, I think I did like 70 something % of it. You know, like it's mainly the Korok seeds, you know, but it's like I maxed out the equipment stuff for the Koroks. So I didn't get all the Korok seeds, but I maximized like their usefulness kind of thing. The like, you know, so basically if I were to get more Korok seeds now, it's just getting Korok seeds for the sake of getting Korok seeds, or because I do want that final quote unquote prize, which isn't really much of a prize. So that's kind of where I'm at with, you know, but so with Xenoblade, I was a bit like, with Xenoblade 3, I was a bit like, oh gosh, if I like beat the game and then there's like, I don't know, like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do these quests, or I'm gonna do this, or whatever, like, oh no, how long is this gonna like take me? Because I do want to do the DLC story, you know, like once I finish the game, I am gonna be eager to like hop into that story, and see how like everything, how the future is connected. So, you know, I wanted to kind of see how that went, but so yeah, so that's good to know that, I don't know, in some ways, like, it doesn't really sound like there's going to be a whole lot of content, like, for me, personally. Like, I'll probably will just get that, like, final hero, and then that'll kind of be it, really. I might do a couple of objectives, but that's kind of it, so, but, right, but yeah, no, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know. Thank you guys for answering that. So please like and subscribe. Nightbot is telling you. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with all that. How long do we have left? 8 minutes. Oh gosh, chat. Do you think we're gonna get this? Look, that's my Meowscarada just standing there, and I'm pressing the ZR button. Look, tap 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 tap. You can probably hear that in the microphone. Like nothing. Nothing's happening. And then, like, it's just standing there. It's just so annoying. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to reset the game after this, I think, just to fix that glitch. It's such an annoying glitch, but... okay. Yeah, the Zeb Strikers would be purple, and then the Blitzels would be blue, so... The the Blitzels are a bit harder to spot from like a distance, I would say, probably, but I still feel like it should be fairly noticeable. At least I'm hoping it is. But again, the lighting in this game, you never know. So yeah, so I might, if I do end up beating Xenoblade first, I will just take a brief break from it to finish Fire Emblem. But I might actually be closer to finishing Fire Emblem now, is the funny thing. I think with Xenoblade, I was genuinely, like, kind of getting close, but then because I did all these other quests, and I'm getting all these other heroes and stuff like that, yeah. I could literally go on, like, my photo album right now and probably figure out, like, when was the last time I did any story, but then I would have to, like, flick through all my pictures, and you guys would see all my pictures, and those of you who haven't played Xenoblade 3 would get spoiled, so I don't want to do that. I'll do that in my own time. But I might just look at how long it's been once I finish. One of the other spoiler things, actually, is I'm too afraid to look up any voice cast people, because whenever you look up voice cast people for things, you get spoilers. And even there are like 2 Xenoblade jokes I made recently where I googled something to like check about them, and it like spoiled stuff, you know. It's just crazy. Like it's like I know exactly what to look for, where to look for it, and you Google it, and you know the thing you're Googling, and you know how to like get the result that you want, but you still end up seeing like some spoiler. It's just so annoying. I mean, they might not necessarily really hugely be spoilers, but still, it's like a little bit of like a thing. I see a Tauros. That's not good. Okay, but we still have 6 minutes. There we go. But like one thing is like there's like a character I want to look up for the voice, because their voice sounds really similar to someone else, and I'm like, I don't think that person can't be in this game, can they? Like they can't be. But it's like, but it does sound very similar to them, and it's like, and I don't think it is them. But it could be. And it's funny, actually, there are 2 actors, and then it's funny, there are actually 2 actors. Um, one actor, the guy who plays Y, I recognized his voice immediately. He's an actor called Colin McFarlane, and he's just been in like a load of like English things. He's also been in like a couple of like American things. He was in The Dark Knight, for instance, as like one of the police people in The Dark Knight. But he's in Xenoblade as this character Y, who talks in like a very sort of weirdly Shakespearean way and stuff like that. But then also sometimes his accent almost sounds a bit like American or whatever. It's a bit weird. But he's like a fun, interesting character. But then there's this other character as well. He's one of the heroes. He's called Gray, and he sounds very similar to an actor called Sean Dooley, who also in turn sounds quite similar to actor David Morrissey. But I'm like, is that Sean Dooley? Like, did they get Sean Dooley for this game? Like, it's just really, and he's like been in like loads of TV projects and stuff like that, so it's just funny. Because a lot of people in Xenoblade are, I don't know. Well, the first game did have quite a lot of people who are very recognizable from like British television, but the second game did as well. To be honest, I've sort of talked about that as well. But the third game, you know, it's sort of. But I'm too afraid to look up the cast. But there's a couple of people where I've kind of like heard voices and recognized them. The one where I'm kind of like, is that a person I know? Like, is but that's the thing. But even if it was like, well, could you get someone else to look it up for you? I'd be like, only if they're a Xenoblade fan who's completed the game. Because if someone who didn't know Xenoblade was looking it up, they could be like, oh yeah, IMDb says they play so and so or whatever, and it's like, no, that's a spoiler. Or do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like you would need someone. But the other one actually is the voice of X. I'm like, that really sounds like a person based out here in America, but it's like, how did they do a game that's like recorded in England? But it does sound really similar to this person I know. It sounds really similar to a person I know, but I'm like, but it can't, like, logistically it can't be, but I feel like it could be the person I know. So, Michael David, hello, welcome, and Michelle, hello, welcome. Let me just see. Spoilers, it turns out Riku was the Monado the whole time. Joke. Ryan, you just got a Jersey Mike's ad! No way! Oh, that's really funny. That's funny. We haven't had a Jersey Mike's reference in a while, actually. I do apologize to Kramen for not teasing you more about Jersey Mike's. But no, so the guy who plays Y, Colin McFarlane, he's done like a lot of voice work, and he's got like a very, sort of quite like a distinctive, and he's just got like a distinctive voice, and it's really cool, and he's very cool and stuff like that. And so, yeah, so like if you're in the UK, you like hear him do voiceover a lot and stuff like that. Why are we, okay, clearly the electric type sandwiches are doing us like no favors today, am I right? I probably should have been going around on Koraidon though. Come on, we've got... Can we do more zebras and lightning bolts and sparkles? Just like one last hurrah of emoji luck. Because we've got 2 minutes left and we're running out of time. And we are just not having good luck with the shinies today. But yeah. Oh, X is voiced by Jessica Preddy. So that's the thing. I knew it wasn't the person who, like, I'm like, it sounds really like so-and-so. But this person as well could weirdly have had a chance to record on Xenoblade 3. So that's why I was kind of like, actually, of all the people I know, they are one of the few people I know who actually maybe could have like secretly worked on Xenoblade 3. But Jessica Preddy, she's really good, by the way. It's not anything weird or whatever. But Voldy was played by a kid. Yeah, I could totally hear that. There are a lot of the kids in it, you can tell, are actually kids, which is quite an interesting thing, because you know, a bunch of the kids, it's all had the people who do this kind of thing. Whereas like you can hear like a bunch of the kids when it like has like flashback scenes of them and stuff, like Noah and stuff like that. Like those are kids, like Noah. Xander says, "Would you like to know who voiced Gray?" It sounds a lot like Sean Dooley, so I think Sean Dooley is the guy's name. So yeah, go on. You can tell me who Gray is, because again, you know the game, so you know how not to. Like, you can look up the game and look up who voiced Gray, and just be like, "Oh yeah, Gray is played by a bloke called blah blah blah," kind of thing, and you can tell me that without spoiling it. Whereas, you know, there are just other things. I won't say how people could spoil the game if they looked up things on IMDb, because then I, in turn, could spoil things for other people. But that's why I'm kind of like, I need someone who knows how to look up this game and can't spoil it for themselves. It is Sean Dooley. I knew it. Here's the thing. Like, Gray, he has like a sort of super muffled voice, and he doesn't talk very much because he wears a mask. So he has like this sort of like muffled filter on him. And so it's like super muffled, and it's like super muffled, and then he just doesn't speak much. He's like, "Yeah, all right," kind of thing, and like that's kind of like the extent to which. But I'm like, those mumbles sound like Sean Dooley, and it is Sean Dooley, and Sean Dooley sounds really similar to David Morrissey. I sort of, you know, I no offense to Sean Dooley, but I sort of did feel like there was a time when like David Morrissey got quite famous of being on The Walking Dead and stuff like that, I think, and so he's like, you know, a bit more high profile now, and I sort of feel like maybe like a bunch of like television shows that got like Sean Dooley to narrate for them were like, we want David Morrissey but like cheaper or something like that, you know. Not that he like took over like all of David Morrissey's voiceover work or anything like that, but it's like, yeah, we want a David Morrissey vibe, but we don't want a guy who's working on a big high-profile show in America. It's like, get Sean Dooley. So yeah, but yeah, okay, interesting. I haven't like used Gray at all, like on my team at all. I really should, because like he's an attacker, and I like having attackers because attackers are good for chain attacks. So I actually do need to have him on my team, but I kept thinking, yeah, I saw the Nopon Arc Sage or whatever. He's like to do with like the challenge battles and stuff, right? Or is he actually in the story? Because if he's in the story, I haven't encountered him. But he's the one who does like the challenge mode thing, right? I haven't actually even played the challenge mode. I just accidentally activated it one day. I like walked too close to the thing that triggers the cutscene, and then yeah, DLC only, yeah. So, but yeah, don't tell me any more voice things, because I don't know. I mean, well, there's a couple of things I know or recognize or whatever, but because again, just you recognize people you know from British TV and stuff like that, but still. Oh, Feta asks, do you have a favorite hero, Beau? Now that's a good Xenoblade question. Okay, and that's also, thank you, Feta, for letting me know you're another Xenoblade peep. So we've got Kevin and Xander and Okami Spiderbrush and Feta. Oh wait, did I just saved my game, didn't I? Oh, Beau, you numpty, you absolute numpty. Ugh, why did I save my game? Beau. So I'll also try and avoid any you know, I'll either try and avoid talking about heroes who kind of in and of themselves are spoilers, or if I mention any heroes, I won't say anything about them that kind of is a spoiler sort of thing. Because there are some heroes where it's like, just by mentioning them, it's like, oh, I thought blah 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 about them, and then there's some where it's like, well, if I just say the name of this character, it's only like, oh, well, if you've met them, you'll know about them, kind of thing. So, yeah, I think I just saved my game. What? I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know whether I just saved my game or not. If I did, I'm a complete fool. Right, let's see what shiny hunt are we gonna do next. Or, you know, that was a terrible one though. Let's see what we've got. Okay, Horsey, Chincho, Sobble, Oricorio, Esper, Solosis. Oh, we do need to do Solosis. But no, Solosis is hard though, isn't it? That's why we don't do it. We could do Cranidos, possibly. Because Cranidos is quite easy, but I don't know how many of them are going to spawn is the problem. And then we've tried Chincho, Joltik, and Blitzel without much luck. Oh, we could try... Okay, this is a wee bit experimental. But let me just look at something. Let me just look at something very quick. Let's try and shiny hunt for a Cottony. I think Cottony could be a good one to shiny hunt for. Okay. Yeah. Let's shiny hunt for a Cottony. I'll go back. I'll look at it, and then we'll just check my sandwich ingredients. And we'll just check. Oh wait, hang on. Didn't this like not have a fairy sound? Oh no, it did have a fairy. Okay. Right. I don't know whether I think I did save the game there, which is just like, Beau, why did you do that? So, but like heroes, favorite hero? That is a good question. Honestly, actually, I think my favorite hero is Eno. And I won't say too much about Eno, but Eno is, like, super interesting. Like, when I saw Eno, I was just like, whoa, wait, what? Like, when, you know. So I won't say anything about Eno, specifically, but Eno is, like, the first of the 2 DLC heroes. And Eno is just, like, super interesting. And she's also really sort of fun as well. I think, like, she's a character where I get if someone felt she was annoying. But I feel like there are other characters where they are more annoying, or like I think she walks the line better than like other characters who are like, oh, they could be annoying or whatever. So that's like a thing. But I think Eno is honestly my favorite. Like obviously like Ethel is like, you know, a good classic solid choice. Ethel's really good. Who else is there? Because there are a lot of them. This one is like I suppose like maybe could be considered a bit of a mild spoiler, but it's also not as well. But the Nopons, Riku and Manana, they're really good. I think it was kind of obvious that they were going to become heroes because they're like with you the whole time in the story, so it makes sense. So I don't think that's why I don't feel afraid to say that like you do get to have combat with them. You do get to like use them in combat at some point. I don't think that's like a big shocker, because basically if you've got a character with you for a long time at the beginning of a game and you can't play as them, 2 things are going to happen. 1, you eventually can play as them, or 2, they die. Like there's not usually much middle ground between that, unfortunately. And in Riku and Manana's case, it's that they become like sort of playable part of your team. So I'll just say that and nothing more, but obviously they're great. I do like attackers generally, just because they're good for the chains, I feel like. But Eno is really good for getting a big chain as well. I like Masha, the other DLC character. I haven't been able to use her much because like every time I add her to my team, I like unlock some hero quest where someone's like, I'll follow you, and then it's like, oh, well now you just got rid of Masha, you know. So that's really annoying. But we'll make a very tall burger here, okay? This is gonna be like a comically large burger, okay? And let's go sweet. Let's go a sweet tomato sandwich. It sounds gross, but let's do it. Oh, Kevin, you like the Soul Hacker one? Well, I was basically, do you mean Triton? Because I was going to say Triton is one of my favorites. He's a character who I won't say anything more about, but I like his personality, and I like his voice, and I like his performance, because he talks sort of like a pirate, like he's from the West Country. I think I've sort of said the part of the country where I'm from is where people kind of either talk like how I talk, or they talk like that. hang on. This is a very... everything's touching, which I think is why this, like, counts. Oh, that worked well. Yay, there we go. Okay. But he be one who talks like this, you see, and he likes you to go on treasure hunts and stuff. Like, you know, he's got that kind of a voice. But it sounds better than that, though. Because they actually did genuinely get, like, a kind of, like, old... I'm pretty sure it is genuinely some kind of, like, older guy. And that may even be, like, his natural voice. It might not, but yeah. So Eno is super interesting. I'm interested to see where like that goes, if anything. But I thought that was really cool, and I did do like her Ascension quest as well. I said I wasn't going to do Ascension quests or anyone, but I did do hers because I was like, how do you unlock the rest of her abilities? And it's like, there's an Ascension quest, and it's like, oh well, I guess I'm doing this. Hang on, one thing I'm going to just do very very quickly. Battle. We're going to get Ceruledge instead of Meowscarada, and then okay, hang on. Oh, hang on. Oh, Nelly on a stick. I forgot that sweet tomato sandwiches don't work. Sorry, sweet tomato sandwiches don't give you the encounter power. That's why. No, well, the thing about Triton is you don't... The thing about Triton is Triton's a character where, like I said before, it's like, if you just say the name, you only know about Triton if you know about him. Like, if I say Triton, you either have to know the game or, like, look him up kind of thing. But he's really interesting. And then there's the other one as well, Sagiri. Like, she's one where it's like, I'll just say her name. I won't say anything about her story. But, like, she's pretty cool as well. I like her. I haven't got to use these characters much. It's just kind of, some of these are just like, oh, I like the aesthetic or the voice or the performance. Like, I really like Sagiri's performance. It's, like, really good. And she was, like, way better than the other characters kind of, like, related to her. I almost was like, did they get, like, different voice directions or something? Because, like, she's, like, so different from all the others, but, like, in a good way. And, yeah. So she's really interesting. I can tell you a bunch of ones I don't like, funnily enough. I don't like Teach. He annoyed me. I don't like Gondor. I don't know if she's, like, meant to be funny, but she's just, like, annoying. Sorry, Gondor. Monica's, like, a cool character. Ashira's a cool character. We're just gonna do the salty tomato sandwich. And then, there we go. Izzard. I like Izzard because he's just, like, a really nice guy. And then Alexandria, or whatever her name, she's quite fun. And then I said about Ashira's quite fun as whatever. I've kind of been using Juniper recently because of all that Turkin stuff. She's, like, okay, but I don't really know what's super duper special about the thing about a lot of the class people is I kind of just use them based on, like, attack, defense, whatever, and there's only really a few of them where I've, like, super duper noticed anything different or special about them. So, like, you know, I'd be like, oh, with this character I have, like, better launch combos or something like that. Or I mean, the main way I know it is from the chain attacks. Like, honestly, having a character who's, like, useful for chain attacks is, like, one of the most important things to me. Okay, so we've got Sparkling Power, Encounter Power. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just switch Meowscarada for Armarouge, and then we're going to get Ceruledge in. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to hunt for Cottony and Whimsicott. These guys... Actually, hang on. Cottony is, like, orange instead of green, so that should be quite easy to spot. And then... hang on, let's Cottony. And then Whimsicott. Whimsicott's a bit harder, but basically instead of green, it's got blue. So if we see a Whimsicott, we will need to, like... If we see a Whimsicott, we will either need to KO it or, like, look at its face. Just to be like, okay, you don't have a blue face kind of thing. But yeah. So, there we go. Okay, Oricorio. Okay. Oh, it's Oricorio. Pokemon. Okay. Oh no, we got some of that 3-hour stream madness kicking in. Okay. So let's see. So like Cottony. Cottony also just makes me think of the name Anthony. So like Cottony, Anthony. Oh, the coastal plaza terranium. Okay, I don't want to get... Okay, here we go. Coastal biome. Right, let's get some more Cottony spawning. There we go. Oh, actually, hang on. Will I be able to tell... Yeah, I'll be able to tell Cottony. It's like slightly more yellow. Like the cloud is more yellow instead of white, but then like the leaves are orange. And then... Yeah, for Whimsicott, like, its brown is a slightly different shade of brown, but for a Whimsicott, we will need to, like, look at, like, the face, I think. So, like, you've got green, kind of thing. And, like, you've got green. And then that's kind of it. Okay. So, but that's the thing, every time I see that Oricorio, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's a shiny, because I'm not looking at green. But, like, no. Okay. We're not having as much luck shiny hunting today, are we? We're, like, 3 hours into this thing, and, we're just not really encountering them, but... And it's a shame, because we had a good start with the Tyrogue, but... Well, we had a fairly good start with the Tyrogue. Like, the Tyrogue took a while, but once we got it, it was like, okay, that's one off the bat kind of thing, and then, yeah. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, it's just these plants, sorry. I could see, like, these... Because basically, the Cottony is, like, the same color as these, like, orangey plants here. So I got all excited there when I was like, oh, I think behind that Whimsicott is a Cottony. And then it's like, no, it's just, it's not. Oh, well. Okay. Let's see what we got. Let's see, guys. I think the madness is getting to me. I swear that Cottony's looking right at me. Likes Ethel. I'm just trying to think. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Do we play a let's name every hero kind of thing? And I'll tell you what I think about them. So yeah, no. Little medic boy, whose name I've already forgotten, even though it was like in the chat like 2 seconds ago. And we talked about how he's like an actual kid. He has like an annoying side quest thing, which I think is part of his ascension quest. He's like okay. I quite liked him and his character and his little story that he kind of went through, like in the game. Although I talked about this at the time, this wasn't really to do with. This wasn't like his fault or anything. But like, I almost wonder if he was like an added in like late to the game or something, because it was just really weird. Or if he was added to, like, the main story pretty late. Because, like, when you beat, like, the bosses and stuff kind of associated with him in, like, the main story, I was genuinely like, okay, am I doing, like, side quest stuff here? Because, like, these aren't proper cutscenes. They had, like, these sort of... They had, like, stuff happening, but it was just, like, characters standing around with speech bubbles rather than, like, a full cutscene. And it was really weird. And then there's even, like, a whole... kind of like, you know, like you beat an enemy, and I was like, okay, did the enemy just die there, or did they just like retreat? And because it was like not a proper cutscene, it was hard to tell even what had happened, what had been going on, and like, yeah, it was so weird. It was this really sort of like, okay, did they just like run out of time here and like not do this thing properly? Like, did they kind of like half... Like, I won't say the other word of that phrase, but, like, did they just kind of, like, half-effort this kind of thing? It was really strange. Like, really strange. And particularly how some of these, like, side quests and stories actually have had, like, full cutscenes where it's, like, you know, there are some cutscenes where it's kind of, like, somewhere in the middle, there's some where it's full, and then there's some where there's, like, none, and this was, like, a really nothingy, you know... cutscene. It was just very odd. It was very... Voldy. I haven't looked at chat yet, but let's just see. Did someone say Voldy? Voldy, yes. Oh, to answer your question, said enemy does appear in the... Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, I don't think that enemy just, like, died, but it didn't really, like... But because it's, like, not a proper cutscene, it's also not clear that he didn't. Like, it was so weird. It was so weird. Yeah. What are the odds I do end up doing all these Ascension quests, eh? Oh, gosh. I mean, hey, I guess it's a chance for me to listen to more voice acting, which is research, right, guys? Right, guys? Guys? So, yeah. But there's just so many, and I don't want to do, like, Teach's side quest. I don't like Teach. He's, like, rude and annoying. And then, like, oh, Gondor? Oh, Gondor's, like, the worst. Like, Gondor and Shania were just, like, the most awful characters. And I know Gondor is, like marginally better, but still. And again, I don't know if Gondor's, like, meant to be funny, but it's like, no, you're not funny, you're annoying. And yeah. Xander, like, he blew up. Exactly. Sorry to kind of get into, like, sort of slightly spoilers here. But that's the thing. Sorry, I will slightly spoil something here, but it's in the main game and whatever. You fight this baddie, and then you go into, like, this cutscene afterwards. But again, it's not a cutscene. It's, like, one with, like, characters standing, like, just standing around with, like, speech bubbles. And, like, ever so slightly turning their heads kind of thing. And so... And I think they were, like... I think the cutscenes were voiced... But it's just so you just basically just got these, like, sort of lifeless standing around. Well, not lifeless. Sorry, that's a bit of an insult to the game. But compared to like a proper cutscene, the characters, like, so much more lifeless. And you've got, you know, kind of these characters being like, "No, we're gonna stop you. Like, that's it. We've beaten you. Like, and now you're gonna learn your lesson." Or, yeah, all this kind of stuff. It's kind of like. So it's kind of proper cutscene-y, but then, like, there's no physical motion to any of it. And it's like, okay, guys, here we go, and all this stuff. And then, like, you know, and then there's just this kind of, like, explosion and, like, ah, kind of thing. And then, like, but it's obviously not, like, a very good explosion because everything's all, like, static because it's just, like, a static cutscene, you know? Rather than anything with, like, motion and camera angles and whatever. So it's just really weird. And it's like, okay, he just, like, got blown up there. Yeah, and it's like, so did he, like, live that or not? And, you know, but so that is one of my mild criticisms about Xenoblade 3, where there are some things where they don't use a proper cutscene. My actual two, I will just sort of quickly say, and then we'll get back to the heroes. My two complaints about Xenoblade 3, and then I'll gush about how good it is as well. My two complaints about it are, one, the map is terrible. Not like the mini map, and not if you kind of bring up the map of, like, oh, what part of the world are you in? But just in terms of, like, the general world map. Like, if you kind of, like, remember a place, like, oh yeah, there was a place where there was, like, a little campsite and like some logs and stuff like that. I don't know, whatever it is you're trying to think of. If you, like, have, like, that kind of, like, a half memory in your head, if you're trying to find it on, like, the world map, like, good luck. You will have, like, no idea. It's just really hard to remember. Like, things are, like, labeled so weirdly and so poorly. And even, in fact, as well, there are some things that would be like, go to, you know, I don't know, like, the green fields or something. I'm just making up a name here, but it's like, go to the green fields. But then, like, if you go on the map and you look at, like, all the checkpoints and markers, none of the markers say green fields on them. You'll get places in the green fields, but there's nothing anywhere on the actual map saying green fields. So, like, you don't know what the different, like, sort of sub-regions within a, you know, within, like, an area map, you don't know what, like, the little different sub-regions are. And, it's just kind of like, so if you kind of, like, can't really remember a place, and you're trying to find it again, and it's not marked on your map with, like, an exclamation point of, like, you need to go here for your mission, like, good luck finding it. Like, if you're not doing something for a mission and you're trying to find a specific place, it can be, like, really hard. And if you really, like, say if you, like, went to, like, a colony, but you didn't really know how you got to that colony, or, like, where it is, like, oh, was it, like, in the west or the east? I don't even know where that colony was. It's, like, really hard to, like, it's just really hard to find stuff. And again, I do think the map could have benefited from like having some writing on it saying like, oh, this is like the green fields and the Gower Plain or whatever it kind of is, you know. Sorry to use a one from from Xenoblade 1, but I also need to sneeze. So it's a hard thing to explain and articulate, but I think one thing is that a lot of maps in games will, like, even if you only, like, say if there's like a big world map and then you get like regional maps, the regional maps will have like little, you know, kind of divides on them, and they'll have writing on them saying like, this is like a one part of this area and this is another part of this area. It would, you know, it would be like, I'll tell you what it would be like. It'd be like if you had a map of a country, right? Say if you had like a map of the USA and someone was like, oh, I live in this town in, you know, say if you were like, I live in Burbank, California, right? And you got a map and it showed you, so you got a map. It was like, right, map of the United States. Okay, there's a map of the United States. Right. Now show me California. Okay, there's California. Right, now show me Burbank. And it's like, oh, yeah, no, we don't show towns on this map. We only show like, cities, states, and the country, but we don't show towns. It's like, what do you mean you don't show towns? Yeah, we don't show towns. But like, I need to know where this town is. Yeah, no. It's like, well, I think it was like somewhere near like LA kind of thing. You know, do you know what I mean? You'd be like, I think it's somewhere near LA, but I don't know. Was it like north of LA or south of LA or, you know, like so if you like, or say if you had like signposts sort of thing, like maps and signposts don't say towns and villages. They just say cities, states and countries. That's it. You know, it'd be like, what? You know, so maybe you would sort of know like the state or the, or like the county or wherever kind of thing, but you wouldn't know like where it is. Well, I know it's somewhere in this location, but I don't know where. Like, that's what it would be like, essentially. And yeah, so, oh no, I think a cat's meowing. But yeah, so it's a very weird, so it's basically just like, yeah, feta. It's just like random landmarks. So it's cool having the landmarks, and if you remember what the landmarks are, that's cool, but the landmarks don't really have any significance outside of their own existence kind of thing. So if you're like, oh yeah, I remember that camp, I want to go to that camp. Cool. Oh yeah, I want to go to that place or whatever. Oh cool, you can go to that place. But if you want to go to a place near that place, unless you have like solidly in your memory remembered that, oh yeah, that place that I remember, it's near this landmark, you don't know. Like, you would have no clue as to, you know, like, even if I go on this map, you know, you've got like Coastal Plaza, like here it's like Coastal Plaza, and then like, you know, Torchlit Labyrinth and stuff like that. Like if I was just looking at this map and I was like, where's the Torchlit Labyrinth, right, sort of thing, I'd be like, well, there are some caves in like this one, and there are some caves in this one. You wouldn't know where it is, right? Like, unless you specifically remembered, oh, there was like grass outside the Torchlit Labyrinth. You wouldn't know which one of these four it is. But if you go in close enough, it's like, oh, Torchlit Labyrinth. So, but Xenoblade Xenoblade 3 wouldn't say Torchlit Labyrinth, and that's like a really annoying thing. Yeah, just random landmarks, and it kind of sucks. It's disappointing because it is an interesting world to explore. But it's just annoying that they kind of make it difficult to explore. And because, as well, it also has this system where the map gets filled out as you explore it. And you're like, oh, a bit like, say, like, but not like in a, like in like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, if you go into an area, you don't unlock the map for it. But like, once you unlock like the beacon, you unlock the map, kind of thing. Like, once you activate the beacon, the map for the whole area is available, kind of thing, and that's cool. Whereas with Xenoblade, like, you literally need to like walk on every path, and it will kind of open. So it'll basically just like, the map is basically based on what pathways you've walked on. Well, not which pathways you've walked on, but just where you've walked, where you have physically traveled. So like, say if I just bring up this map. If I say hadn't like swum around up here, this area of the map would be blank. Even though I've like walked all along this island, like trying to look for cottonies that aren't appearing. Why are we not getting shinies today? This is really starting to get to me. It's like, dude, I was feeling anxious at this stream, and though talking to my lovely chat and getting, you know, sort of some reassurances from them is very cool and very lovely and everything. It's like sort of, you know, it would have been nice to have been able to take my mind off things just that extra little bit more with some shinies. And instead we've just spent like 2 hours walking around going like green, 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 green. But anyway, but yeah, so it's not a good, map, and it's just annoying. And yeah, something like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, you know, it is annoying when you go into an area and like you can't, you know, none of where you've been is like recorded for you or anything like that, or not especially. Aside from like a few landmarks, but then once you activate that beacon, it's like you can see like the whole of that area in all its glory, even the parts that you haven't been to. And with the Xenoblade though, it's like basically like my ocean, like there's a part of the game where there's like ocean and you can like sail around in the ocean, and all of that is just like very blank for me, except for like the specific routes that my boat has sailed, because it's like it's so vast and expansive. I'm not literally gonna go up and down the ocean in like zigzag lines or a grid or anything like that, you know. So it you know, for some reason just the map is weird in the game. I do like, again, I really like the mini-map. The mini-map is excellent and really good. And these sort of smaller maps where it's more focused on like a specific region are really good. But it's just, it's hard having a sense of like where stuff is or was in relation to one another. And I think it's because, yeah, there's like no writing or text on the map to kind of subdivide up the areas or anything like that, which just kind of sucks. It sucks. So, yeah. Lexi, you're alive. Good to hear. We're currently hunting for shiny cottony. That is like a very, very mod thing to say, and I like that. Unless someone specifically asked, and I do apologize. And if anyone new came in the chat, I do apologize if I've missed you. Feel free to say hi. So that's like one of my 2 complaints, just like that the map just like isn't very good. And because I've played the game so much, I'm getting better at like memorizing things, but it's also because there's now like a part of my brain being like, I have to remember where this is. So yeah. And then the other thing, what was the other thing? Oh, and then the other thing as well, actually, I know this is a weird complaint, and I almost sound ungrateful, and I promise I'm not being ungrateful. But the game it's like, basically, the world is almost like a bit too big. This is a bit of a weird thing to explain, but like, the world is a bit too big, and basically, either I wish that there was more story, more mainline story, or that there was like a smaller world. And I know that sounds really weird, and let me explain what I mean. In Xenoblade 2, in fairness, I actually might not have delved into side quests much in Xenoblade 2. Like, maybe Xenoblade 2 does have like a bajillion side quests and I just didn't really do them. But because of the way Xenoblade 2 was structured, Xenoblade 2 had a big world but like a lot of linearity, which, and again, this might be a Beau Bridgeland thing. I've sort of talked about in the past, like, open world does not necessarily equal better. And so a thing I really appreciate about Xenoblade 2 is it had this like linearity. It had a big world, but like with linearity to it. And it had this big world, but with like linearity to it. So there was like lots of stuff to explore. There were like little nooks and crannies to explore, but there weren't really like, say, like whole areas or like regions that you wouldn't explore. Like in Xenoblade 2, there are all the different titans that you have to travel on, and like you know, there isn't like, there aren't any titans that like, oh, there's like there are like all these hidden secret titans that you've never been to or anything. It's like every titan has a role like within the story, right? Like you have to go, you kind of have to go to every place as part of the story. But with Xenoblade 3, that isn't the case. And there are some really cool and interesting places that seem significant that, to the best of my knowledge, unless something happens later in the story, you don't have to go to at all. But there are like these full cutscenes, and they really like flesh out the world, and they just seem significant. But you don't actually have to touch them at all, and it's just kind of weird. And like, I don't know, like it was just like, and I'll give you an example. I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, and I'm sorry if I've got this wrong actually, but to the best of my knowledge, this is like correct. Right, attack these Cotonese. How long do we have left? 9 minutes. Oh my gosh. Right, we're getting on Koraidon. Desperate times, desperate measures. Come on, we're looking for orange leaves. Orange, 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 orange. Don't make me start explaining the etymology or whatever of the word orange again. Like, I've explained it several times on these streams, and I'm not afraid to explain it again. Like, basically where the word orange comes from. Oranges aren't called oranges because they are the color orange. It's a whole thing. I can explain it in a minute. But let's get back to open world versus linearity. As a general gaming concept. But yeah, so 2 was really nice because it had these big open spaces, but there was still like a linearity. It was like, look, you can just shoot straight for like the boss or the character who you're supposed to go and talk to. But if you sort of do a bit of a lefty-righty, righty-lefty, wiggly, zigzaggy sort of journey there, if you take a couple of lefts and rights and look in a couple of nooks and crannies, there's some extra things that you can do. And that's really cool. Whereas with 3, it's really interesting because you do have these big areas that they're a little bit more open and a little less sort of, they're a little less linear and a little more open. There is still like a nice linearity there. It's not like, say, as open as, say, like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, but like to which there are flaws with that system as well. But with Xenoblade 3, it's sort of weird. And let me give an example. And again, I do apologize if this is too spoilery. I don't think it is, but like, I mentioned that character Teach, who sucks. He basically is kind of like the leader of Mio. Mio is like one of the 2 main characters, right? There's Noah and Mio. I mean, yes, it's an ensemble of 6 characters, but Noah and Mio are the main 2 characters, and that's not a spoiler. It's just obvious. Like, they've got amiibos, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So, Noah and Mio amiibo, you might even call it. She's like one of the main 2 characters in the game. She came from a colony, I believe Colony Gamma, if I've got the right one, but it's like the colony the colony that she came from before she sort of met up with our heroes and joined and became like part of a group of 6 heroes or whatever. She came from this like Colony Gamma. Colony Gamma is like a colony that you can go to, and there's like a whole bunch of side story stuff there and whatever. But like, it's optional. But it you know, there's like cutscenes and important stuff and like significant. Well, it may not be important, but it's significant. It's interesting, and it's just kind of like, this feels like it should somehow be part of the game. And I know it's like hard to. It's like, yeah, but why would they go out of their way to come here? And it's like, I don't know. I don't make these incredible stories. I just read them out loud, like, for a living. That's my job. But like, it's not my job to like create them. My job is to like, you know, interpret them and bring them to life. But you know, but it felt like a missed opportunity almost. It was like, this is really cool. This feels like something everyone should be experiencing, but they don't. And it's, you know, and yes, some of the side stories are like very sort of sidey, you know, with their characters and stuff like that, you know. I think it's quite funny about some of the side stories is when they have these like really weirdly high stakes. Like everything seems like it's like super duper important, but it's like I just met you. Is this important? Are you important? You know, but you got these characters being like, I'm sorry, I just didn't know what I was gonna do, and it's like, okay then, and stuff like that. But yeah, so man, those Noah and Mio amiibos, the amiibos, they look really cool. I'd love to have them, but I just don't really have like the money or the space for them, unfortunately. But I do hope someday. I do hope someday that I do get to be reunited with my amiibos. They're all like shut up in a box in England. I mean, hey, I could maybe bring them back with me next time I go to England or whatever. But like, but yeah, but yeah, and I do have the Shulk amiibo, so I probably should get like the Pyra and Mithrop one, shouldn't I? But they're probably all like sold out and cost like $1 bajillion or whatever. But I would still get amiibos if I did have the money and the space. I would admit that, because I do like amiibos. They are quite. I'm not really much of like a figures guy, but I do like the amiibos. Like, I guess because Smash Bros does such a good job like modeling and posing all these different Nintendo characters, the amiibos always look really, really good. But still, oh well. How long we got left? 4 minutes. Chat, like clouds, leaves, and orange hearts and sparkles. Go. Spam that chat with all this stuff. I hope I haven't like walked past a bunch of them accidentally. Oh, we have not had good luck today. I mean, I guess this was always how it was going to go after last week, but still. Right, let's see. Come on. Cottony. Orange leaf cottony. Clouds with orange wisps on them. Or we'll take the blue Whimsicott. Oh, my Ceruledge is stuck. Ugh. Ceruledge. Do you have to be stuck, buddy? This is not the time for that. Not the time for it, my dude. But yeah, so sorry to talk about like the Xenoblade map, but this is also just an honest thing about like game concepts and stuff. But then yeah, but it's just interesting. There are all these like weird side stories that they seem cool. And I said about X earlier. Basically, one of the Ascension quest things has that character X in it, and it's like quite big and quite significant. And I'm like, this really feels like it should be something that like every player should be doing as part of the story. I don't know why this couldn't have been part of the story. Like, so it's just kind of weird that they created all this like optional stuff. Because it's like, look, either create a bigger story to encompass all this, or just have a smaller world, because there's just so much stuff to do. But it seems wasteful that so much of this stuff isn't necessary. I don't know. I know for some games it's kind of hang on. I know for some games you know, there's a bit of a, it's like, well, there's a lot of stuff you don't have to do, but that's okay. But in this game it doesn't feel right that this stuff like is just like optional or whatever. I don't know. So that's my waffle about the 3 things in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 that have just been like a bit, I don't want to say disappointing, but where it's just like sort of not as good or whatever sort of thing, like that take it from being like a perfect game to like a very, very good one kind of thing. Oh, Xander, you did manage to get those amiibos. Excellent. It's funny because we went with the amiibos. We went through a phase of like they were impossible, and then Nintendo got good at stocking them. But then now they're losing relevance again, so now they're getting hard to stock again. Also, if you don't do said quest, someone will be missing from the final hang on. Fun fact, the cutscene Beau's talking about was in the announcement trailer. Oh, what, with the hang on, which cutscene was I talking about? the Uni Ascension quest, or because basically, yeah, in the Uni Ascension quest, like that was like a big deal, and again, it was just kind of like, yeah, the one with X, yeah, she's in Uni's Ascension quest, and it's like X is a big character, and like that seems like a big deal, and yeah, I don't know, just funny old thing, a funny old thing, and it just seems like a wasted opportunity. Cramming. I'd love to one day finish your Smash collection, but you've fallen out of the hunt. Oh, that's a shame. But it's hard as well, because like Smash Bros has so many characters. Like you are talking about like 80. You are talking about like 80 amiibo, and or at least 80 amiibo, because a bunch of them probably have like 2 figures or something. You know, right? 54 seconds. Oh gosh. God, chat. This has been a terrible hunt. Like a terrible. Like I'm gonna be able to like make this look better than it is on Twitter, because I can be like, oh, look at this, a Hitmonchan, a Hitmonlee, and a Hitmontop, but we only got one of them. So yeah, so that's a weird cottony. Don't say that. Don't. Oh, the source bug. I was like, no. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, sorry. I started zooming out into my anxious stuff there. I didn't like feel anxious, but I started like going down that path. It's like, concentrate on amiibos, Beau. Amiibos. Can we get a Beau amiibo? That'd be kind of funny. I'll get an amiibo, a Funko Pop, a Nindroid. Or is it, actually, hang on, I forgot what my little Chongyun thing is called. No, that's like a Neko thing, isn't it? A U2's. Just the Thanos gauntlet of stuff and things. No, there are like Chongyun figures and stuff like that. I'm just talking about like, say, like the big ones or whatever, like the most iconic. Right, well, that was a waste. Okay, this is not going well, and I'm running through a lot of my most like, oh, that'll be easy and obvious and good to hunt kind of thing, and now I genuinely don't know what to like shiny hunt for anymore. Oh gosh. Let's see. We could go for Skarmory. Do you want to go for Skarmory? Do I have any other steel types apart from Skarmory? No, I do have a couple, don't I? There's a couple of steel types. I'm also getting pretty hungry as well. Okay, we'll maybe call this the last shiny hunt. Oh, Shieldon. I can take that off the list, because we got Shieldon 2 weeks ago. Or no, a week ago even. Okay. Let's go fly a kite up to... Oh, and Duraludon. I can get rid of Duraludon. I got Duraludon. No, get rid of Duraludon. There we go. Let's go fly a kite up to the highest height. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring. Okay. I mean, wheels on bus and wheels on bus. Okay. Do we want to go for Cranidos or Skarmory? Whoa! $5 super chat from Beau. A super chat from a Shibartooth. Super chat for an amiibo, but also because you care. Heart, shiny luck. Thank you. Oh, that's really sweet. That's really lovely. Thank you. Sorry, I'm going blank. I'm sort of checking chat at the same time. Thank you so much. Wonga. What, Wonga's only for the PayPal thing? So I didn't miss a Wonga, did I? I don't think I did. We'll reserve Wonga just for the PayPal, just because. Okay, so we'll do one more shiny chat. Hopefully this works. A super chat from Shibartooth. No, thank you, Shibartooth. That's really, really sweet of you, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, so what do we shiny hunt? Do we try and go for, like, say, a shiny Grookey to route to just because that's like a safe and easy one? Do we go for a Cranidos, which might be a bit more experimental, but it could work? And then other things, I don't really know. Basically, next week's shiny hunt is just going to be hunting for everything we failed to get this week. So, Kevin, thank you so much. I will see you around, but thank you for chatting. And then, so anyway, for this last shiny hunt, let's talk about... Oh, well, actually, no, let me gush about why Xenoblade is good, and then we'll talk about Fire Emblem. But Cranidos or Grookey, what do we want to go for? I think Skarmory might be a bit too hard to spot because, like, metallic Pokemon. We got revenge. Oh, revenge. Well, we could do a revenge hunt. I don't really want to do Chincho though, admittedly. And I don't really want to do Cottony again. I'm kind of tempted. Lexi, you haven't asked the question you wanted to ask. Oh, well then ask your question. Ask your question, Lexi. Ask your question. I say let's try and go for a Grookey. Grookey's one of my favorite starters. I've got a plush of Grookey. I'm going to put the plush of Grookey in my lap for good luck. It's my good lap luck Grookey, okay? We've got Grookey in my lap. And then we're going to hunt for the Grookey, because we're also kind of in the right area anyway. I do already have a shiny Grookey, but obviously I would like 2 more, so that I have Thwackey and Rillaboom. But we'll have to see how it goes. Okay. This is one I'm saving for the handheld only, Comfey. Because they are going to be very hard to spot shiny. I might have to wait for like an outbreak on them or something. Actually, hold the phone. Hold the phone. 1 minute. Do I have any... Hang on. Oikalone? Oh, there's a Kamala outbreak. Should we see if I can get a shiny Kamala first? Because I don't have a shiny Kamala. I was about to say, let's just see if we've got any outbreaks for any Pokemon. And then we can kind of take it from there. Or... Hang on. Or we could mix things up. We could be very risky. We could play this very interestingly. Right? Hang on. Right, we got Kamala. I'm just thinking... Right, I don't have Kamala. Right? Not to be confused with Kamala. Happy 3 years as VP, Vice President Kamala Harris. Oh yeah, today, 3 years ago today... was the inauguration of Joe Biden as 46th president of the United States, although he's actually the 45th man to be the president. Thank you, Grover Cleveland, and for making that confusing. And but basically, yeah, I went into the booth with Donald Trump as president. Recorded a bunch of Chongyun Hangout Quest stuff for Genshin Impact, and then I came out of the booth with Joe Biden as the president. So that was quite a funny thing, because basically I remember like having that session and like talking about it in the booth, because like January 6th had happened and everything, and so we were all kind of a bit like, oh, hope nothing happens, like this could be a bit tense and stuff like that. And so I think like Chris, my director, might have like had some news on in the background, just like keeping an eye on the news, just making sure nothing happened. Just because like we'd had January 6th like 2 weeks before. So yeah, that was 3 years ago. Crazy stuff. But yeah. Okay, so so should we... Here's the thing I'm kind of tempted to do, right? I'm tempted to do the Kamala outbreak, but I'm tempted to maybe... like, near the end of it, make a normal type sandwich, and then we could hunt for normal type Pokemon. But I think maybe we'll just do this Kamala, and then we'll do Grookey, and then we'll call that it. let's just test our luck and test our chances, and then see if we can get. Because I've already got the Grookey in my lap as well. We don't want to disappoint Grookey. So let's just do the Kamala outbreak. Although this is a bit of a waste of a good Kamala outbreak, just because Kamala's like a hard Pokemon to isolate and get a shiny for. But in Violet, it's a thing I could do. Also, it might only appear like during the daytime or something. It might not even actually appear because it's nighttime here. And yeah, there's like loads of Shuppets here. Oh, never mind. No, we're doing Grookey. Never mind. Because Kamala... Oh, no, here's Kamala. Maybe they do appear at night. Well, let's see if we can beat a load of Kamalas. There's a load of Shuppets here. Oh, no, there's Kamala, though. Okay, so the only difference with Kamala is the log it carries is pink instead of brown. Oh, wait, hang on. Where'd it go? Oh, no, I crossed the boundary. Oh, gotta be careful of that. Oh, Squawkabilly. Hey, Squawkabilly. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, gotta be careful. Don't get too close to Artisan. Or we just gotta hunt these Kamalas easily. Okay, yeah. No, we won't do a normal type sandwich. We'll just wail on these Kamalas and see if we get a shiny, like, out of pure luck. And then we'll go get a Grookey, okay? And we will definitely get a Grookey. I'm fed up of things not working properly today. Okay. Oh, speaking of a Steenie, Bounce Sweet is a Pokemon I need a shiny of, but they don't appear like normally in this game. Like I think they're only in like trees or something like that, so it's hard to get a shiny of a Bounce Sweet. So I've got like the other two. I've got like Steenie and Serena or whatever. But I'm missing out on the Bounce Sweet, which is really annoying. So hopefully Bounce Sweet is made available someday, or I like catch on in Pokemon Go and then can just trade it over. Right, come on Kamala, because not many of these things are spawning, and I need more of you to spawn so that I can go and hunt for my Grookeys and then get some food, because I do really need some food. And then yeah, okay. We got the Aussie Bear, and then we got like Teddy Bear. Okay. Right. Keep going. Where are the Kamalas? Come on, Kamala. Anyway, we'll talk about good things with Xenoblade. Kramen, you are a legend for doing that, very sort of moderatory thing of being like, like, here's the shiny we're hunting for. Like, that's like, I'm sorry I don't have like fancy graphics where I can put the like currently hunting for, number of attempts and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not there yet with like the tech and resources and everything. But okay. But thank you, Kramen. I really do appreciate that. Oh, here's a couple. But no, Xenoblade 3 though. So even though it does have those, there's either like too much stuff or too much stuff isn't mandatory, and it's just a shame. But like it's so much fun to do it all, and it's like streamlined so much of the like quest systems and stuff like that. Because one of the things with Xenoblade X was if you had like an item fetching quest in Xenoblade Chronicles X, and I hope that this is something they fix when they do, hopefully, inevitably, do a remake someday. I'm hoping that they do. I'm hoping that they do have. I'm hoping that they do kind of incorporate some of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 type stuff from it, because in Xenoblade Chronicles X, it would have like item fetching quests. But you just wouldn't really know. It's like, unless you knew where to get the items, like what part of the map they spawned on, you could kind of be like held clueless. And it was really annoying because or maybe like for items it was okay, but then enemies, it wouldn't like tell you where like enemies were and stuff like that. It was really weird. There was like something where like it wouldn't tell you, and it was really annoying because there was something where it was like, I think one thing it'd be like, oh, I need you to get this resource, and it's attached. Oh no, that was it. I think this was the issue with Xenoblade X, right? So there are items you find on the ground, there are enemies you can defeat, and there are items you can get from defeating enemies, right? Not dissimilar to Pokemon right here, right now. We're defeating these Kamala. Every time we defeat one, right? Look, it's like, we got a Kamala Claw, times 3. Kamala Claw, times 2, right? So imagine this, right? So imagine if, like, the game was like, oh, you need a Kamala Claw. Now, obviously, like, they've got more random names than that, so you don't automatically know where they're from. Like, if you see Kamala Claw in this game, you're like, right, I need to find some Kamala. But in Xenoblade X, I think this was the issue with it. Because, again, it's been, like, 8 years since I've played this game or whatever. But, like, it would say something like, oh, you need to get this item. And it's an item that you can only farm from a particular enemy. And so then what you would be like is like, okay, where's the enemy? And then you'd need to look up the enemy in your, like, encyclopedia. And then it would say, oh, the in-game encyclopedia, and it'd be like, oh, the enemy generally spawns in like this area over here, and you'd be like, oh, okay, but like where specifically though? Because this area is huge. And what's really annoying is if you had a mission where it was like you need to defeat 3 of this enemy, right? If like that was the mission, it would pinpoint specifically on the map where those enemies spawn. So it's like, it's not like the game doesn't know the exact precise areas where these things are. And so basically there should have been some kind of like a radar system where where you can say like, a bit like in Zelda, well, not quite Zelda, but where you say, right, I am after this enemy. And then it pinpoints on the map with exclamation points, where that enemy spawns, and then you can just go to that part of the map, and even if you don't like farm the item that you want, like maybe like you don't get as many of that item as you like, at least you know where to farm them. And it was like really weird and really stressful and annoying because it made doing side like that. Xenoblade X is all about the side quests, and like the side quests are so brilliant, and that is like the point of the game. Like you play the game for the side quests, but like when it makes them like harder to do like that. Oh, hang on. In Xenoblade 1 Definitive, if you have a quest that needs an item/enemy drops item, it marks all locations on the map. See, that's really good, and that hopefully bodes well for Xenoblade X. Because Xenoblade X, right, it also had like an online multiplayer mode. If they played their cards right with Xenoblade X, they could get that to become some really big franchise where like loads of people play online and they're all like exploring the world and like, right, we need to find this resource, we need to do this thing, we need to play together kind of thing, we need to beat this enemy and stuff like that. Like it could like become a big thing, you know, like some of these other open world games you get on like PlayStation and stuff. But hang on, let me just check the map. Where's the Kamala? Did we run out of Kamala? No. But yeah, so that's really good if they do that. Let me just, implementing something like that into a stream sounds like it would be complex. Sharing the link is simple enough, so no worries. Oh, well, thank you, Kramen. But yeah. Xenoblade 3, though, it, like, streamlines and just makes so many things about the gameplay better. Like, it's just so nice. Like, just a lot of, like, the visual aesthetic stuff. Like, I love how the items are... I love how there's, like, items on the ground again, like in Xenoblade 1. But I like how when you get up close to them, you can see what sort of type of item it is. So, hopefully someday they'll be able to give each item its own unique icon and, you know, you'll be able to see them from afar. But I like how the item collecting is kind of more like it is in 1, but it's better than in 1. That's just, like, a really good touch. I love, like, having more characters in your team. I actually think having, like, 6 characters in your team is really good. I hope that in future games you do have slightly bigger teams, even if it's, like, 5 or something like that. I would have really liked 2 if you could have had, like, all the characters on your team at the same time, because I hated having to choose only 3. I know that's like part of the strategy and stuff, like, and obviously, you know, but it sort of it feels weird in a game where like narratively you're all traveling together, but then you only ever see like 3 of the characters on screen at once, and you're only ever fighting with 3 of the characters. Like that's why like with Pokemon I don't like, because with Pokemon the whole idea is it's like, oh, you're only allowed to carry 6, that's like the rules. The rest of your Pokemon like get put in storage and stuff like that's part of like the lore and everything else, and like the rules. So I don't feel like, you know, I don't sort of feel like, oh, my Pokemon are all like, why aren't like my 500 Pokemon following me around, you know? But in Xenoblade it's sort of weird when you're like, oh, you've got this group of like, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people or whatever, and none of them, but like only like 3 of them appear on screen at times. So I like having a bigger team, and it leads to like more interesting like strategizing and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And then come on, Kamala, where are you? I am worried that a shiny's gonna spawn and we're gonna like or like despawn it, just because we're like keep walking too close to the town. Because the problem is the town kind of juts out a bit here, so it's like but anyway, Bug. So it just like, you know, like the music's good, the characters are good, the visuals are good. Its tutorials are excellent. I know I spent the beginning of the stream talking about how I didn't know how to do chain attacks, lol. But the chain attacks were like the most complex thing, where I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I understood this. But like everything else, it does a really good job of like kind of like making sure you know how all these things work. Like it makes you, like it's like, okay, I'm going to make you equip an item. Here's how you equip an item. Whereas Xenoblade 2 would kind of be a bit more like, here's how you do all this. Like, here's a load of information telling you how to do a thing. Okay, bye. Whereas Xenoblade 3 is like, right, not only am I going to tell you, like, the theory of how to do something, a game theory, but I'm going to actually, like, make you do it as an example. And, like, that's really, really cool. So, and then Lexi, sorry, I did see your question, and I'll answer it quickly. Lexi asked about would I consider watching, well, I think this was your question, watching like some of the earlier Beyblade stuff. Honestly, I genuinely don't know. Maybe like someday if it's like available and accessible to me and I have that itch or something. But honestly, I'm kind of like most interested in just the stuff ever since Bang Zoom recorded it. Just because I kind of want to like listen to my friends and stuff like that, you know, like I remember like when like Laura and Erica announced that they were playing like lead characters in the show, and I was like very excited for them. And so for some reason that Drifloon looked really yellow to me when I got further away from it. I don't know why, like maybe just its face looked more yellow, and but like I was like, that isn't yellow, is it? Like that is purple. I'm sure I can see purple on it. So, I think maybe I might, but I've also watched a couple of clips from, I did watch like a clip or two from like the old series, and the battles were like so much tamer, because I guess like the 3D animation maybe was like a bit less refined or something, I don't know, but it just seemed like way tamer, and the battles just seemed a bit more like spin round and round in circles, whereas like, you know, in like the like series that I'm in, for example, it's just like ting 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 bang 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 kind of thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So you know, so the answer is I don't know, it kind of depends. Maybe I will, but honestly I wouldn't be surprised if I just went back and watched like Laura and Erica, and then, you know, and that kind of like satisfies me kind of thing. So we'll have to see. I won't say never, but I will be honest and say honest. Like I've thought, like I do kind of want to watch like Laura and Erica, because like I've seen their characters and I've heard their voices and stuff, you know, like in the seasons that I've watched and the show that I'm in and stuff like that. But like, you know, it's kind of like, but so I do have an interest in them because they are my friends and they're the stuff that I'm familiar with, and they sort of feel more connected to what I am connected to. But yeah, I don't know if I'm as interested in some of that earlier stuff. I didn't really like Kit Lopez. I'm sorry, Kit. But yeah. So yeah, so that hopefully that kind of answers your question. And then just back to good things about Xenoblade. But yeah, but no, I really love the characters and I love like their interactions and stuff. And I'm enjoying the story and the world. It's all very interesting. Lots of deep themes and very serious stuff. Oh my gosh. And then but yeah, and then right, hang on, where's the Kamala? Kamala. It's a name you should know. But yeah, and then okay, there we go. Come on, knock out all these Kamalas, and then I just want this to, because now if I do a Grookey hunt, we're gonna go past 3 o'clock. I didn't really want to go past 3 o'clock. But yeah, so it's just, I'm very impressed with Xenoblade, and it's just like really good to play. Like the UI is all really good. It explains what it all like does and everything, and although not many left, I'm still not done yet. Oh my gosh! Unless we just call this the final one. No, I've got Grookey on my lap. We gotta do this. The only reason why I wouldn't do this, if we saw like a random shiny, like a Shuppet or a Choreo or whatever, I would be like, okay, that's it. Like, we're calling that the stream. We'll do Grookey next time. You know, Grookey can be our first one. If we did get it, I'll tell you what, if we get shiny Kamala, we'll get Grookey to be our first hunt next time, okay? But again, we're just doing this just because we do have the slightly higher odds of a Kamala here. So we might as well try and like jump on those higher odds. We'll jump on those higher odds whilst we've got them, whilst we've got this rare opportunity. Oh, for the love of Nelly, I don't want to go into Artisan, because otherwise that resets everything, and I could in theory see a shiny and then it could like despawn. I don't want that. Don't want any despawning. So it's just really fun to play, and like all the it's just like so. I know this isn't a good comparison because people don't like Sword and Shield, but to me, you know, Xenoblade 3 kind of feels like a Sword and Shield of like Xenoblade games, where it's like, it may not, you know, we could sort of say like, oh, does it have like the best story? We could say, oh, does it have the best this or that kind of thing, but it does have like, but in terms of just having the most like efficient gameplay, you know, like, oh, it has like fast battles and good menus, and it's really easy to like swap out your Pokemon's moves, and it's really easy to add items, and it's really easy to do this and convenient to do that. Like Sword and Shield just like really perfected a lot of the like, you know, stuff that just kind of can be a bit of a pain when you're like, you know, some of those like itty bitty details and stuff in Pokemon, like Sword and Shield kind of like perfected like a lot of that stuff and made, you know, sort of just things like switching out moves or training up Pokemon like really easy and straightforward and accessible. And yeah, and so oh, we're in Artisan again. Stop getting into Artisan. There we go. I have no idea what I was saying. So, oh yeah, so Sword and Shield kind of like really just like refined so much stuff, and like Xenoblade, and like, and I feel like Xenoblade 3 is kind of like, it's definitely kind of like refined everything, in like a nice way, where it just sort of makes that base Xenoblade experience like so good. And I love having the more team members is really fun, and like, I don't know, like the interlinking and stuff. It's like an interesting story thing, but then it's like a cool game mechanic. And yeah, it's just, again, I do think the interlinking is another thing where they introduce it and you're a bit like, what? Like in the tutorial, because it's sort of, I don't know, it's kind of hard for you to like reach like an interlink level 3 when you're first told about interlink level 3 or whatever. But yeah. So, but yeah, it's just loads of fun, and it just kind of like really makes things like efficient and nice and good, it's all just presented and laid out so well, and it is just like really fun to play. I haven't like been stressed out or anything at all playing it, which I think during 2 I had some points where I was like, oh, why does the gameplay do this, and why does it do... And then with 1 I think I did have some like tough bosses and stuff like that, and or things where I just got a bit like whereas yeah, with 3 it's been like a joy to play. And then Fire Emblem Three Hopes, which again I'm getting very close to. I'm on like chapter 13, and I think with the story I've chosen, I have like 15 chapters, I want to say. So I am getting very close to the end now. But no, Three Hopes is good. It's like if you sort of say if you like tried Fire Emblem Three Houses, or you saw Fire Emblem Three Houses and you're like, I like the look of all this like social stuff, but I kind of don't really want to like play big chess, which is how I kind of think of Fire Emblem. Like Fire Emblem, I just think of like big chess. If you sort of are like, but I like the, or if you've, hang on, that's a shiny Shuppet. That is a shiny Shuppet. Okay, chat, we're not going to do the Grookey hunt today. We have been owed this. That is a shiny Shuppet. I don't believe it. I mean, hey, we've been hunting for hours. Like, oh, good golly gosh. So, well, there we go. Okay, so we will be wrapping up the stream in like the next 5 minutes. I do apologize for the sort of quote-unquote now sudden abruptness of which we'll be ending. But yeah, today just hasn't like been it's been a fun stream. You guys have been awesome, but like from the standpoint of like succeeding in the shiny hunts, not been the most fantastic of shiny hunts. But again, we were always going to have a stream like this right after our like 9 hunt stream. Oh, the outbreak is dispersed. I defeated 1 more Kamala. And then it's like, yep, they're all gone now. No more shiny Kamala. Wow. Wellity, wellity, wellity. Okay, well, that's the end of that chapter. Yeah, so I am hungry, and I need to go eat and stuff like that, and I guess deal with this anxiety and stuff. Oh, who wants to be bothered with all that? But yeah, but no, but Three Hopes, I'll talk about that more next time, I guess. Maybe I'll have completed the game by next week and I can talk about it more. But yeah, if you liked sort of a lot of the socializing, but you didn't like the big chess, maybe Three Hopes is like the game for you. Let's go to Central Plaza. But it is very good. It takes a while to get used to. Like Xenoblade, I loved it right away, although that could be because I'm like I was used to 2, so I was like quite in the swing of things. But with Three Hopes, it was a new experience, but you know, and there are things where it's like, oh, I wish I had known that at the beginning or whatever. But it is very good, and it does a very good job of mixing like a very high action game with like tactics and strategy still. Like there is still a lot of big brainedness and like, okay, I'm gonna have this character do this and this, and I'm gonna equip them with this, and I'm gonna make them do that, and you know, like there's a lot of good stuff like that as well. Like I'm surprised by how like strategic and in-depth the strategy is. I'm quite impressed with that. So right, we'll call that it for now. Again, sorry for being a bit glum today. Hopefully in a few weeks I'll be a bit more myself again. But yeah. And it's just been a busy week and stuff like that as well. So I'm going to say 50 bajillion times, thank you all so much. Basically, Lexi, I don't know if you watch The Simpsons. There's an episode, or if you have Disney Plus or anything like that. There's an episode of The Simpsons where Homer changes his name to Max Power. The episode might be called like Homer to the Max or something like that. He changes his name to Max Power, and the reason he does it is basically for the same reason that you don't like what happened to Wakia in like his final few seasons. If you ever like, enjoy The Simpsons or anything, or like check out that episode, you'll be like, yes, this is what they did with Wakia, kind of thing. I'll tell you a quick funny thing as well. In Fire Emblem Three Hopes, sorry, I'll stop saving. In Fire Emblem Three Hopes, there was like a Baron or someone. There's like some enemy I was fighting, some like boss battle of a mini level, and he's like he starts like screaming or whatever at his minions or whatever. And it's just Wakia, and I'm like, that's Howard. Like, like it's just Wakia. It was really funny. Right. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for the very kind super chats. Thank you for the Wonga. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I'm walking away from the microphone. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your love and support. Again, I don't know. Just it's been a bit of a hard few weeks after a hard year and everything else, and I hope I can kind of figure out this thing that's kind of currently wrong with my brain. I just really want to fix it. But thank you for that support. Next week, okay, hang on. Next week, right? Grookey, Pokemon number 1. Okay, remind me of that because I'm probably gonna forget. Satella, happy birthday! I hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on your special day because that's just very sweet of you. And then maybe I don't know. Maybe next week we could try and turn it into a bit of a revenge stream, or we could like go for Cranidos and Skarmory or something. I don't know. Anyway, Bark. Take care, everyone. I love you lots. Thank you so much. I'll see you later, and bye-bye.